Thanks, Bears versus Bulls.
Yo, yo, yo,
What is up, everybody? I'm Satea, this is Obi,
Hello.
And we are back on the Midday show. Do you want to start off with some shoutouts?
Yeah, sure. Again, thanks for having me back here. What a crazy day. Let's see, people are kind of dropping into the chat here. Let's see who is here. We got Rob Evie, Adam DeLuz, what's going on, man? Andrew Chow is in the building. Bears versus Bulls, of course, what's up? Derek Thompson, Andrew Chow, I think I did that one already. Darwin the Piper, Oliver, what's going on? Andy Lewis, good day to you as well. Frank Handley, Sofa King, oh boy. I might need a little bit of that sofa after seeing some of this price action this morning. Absolutely wild. Ronaldo, what's going on? Kahula, Zion Lala, what's going on, everybody? Let's go. This is crazy market. Did you have any trades this morning, Satea?
I did not have any trades this morning, but I'll get into it sometime soon. But I wanted to start off with a lesson. I feel like just because with everything, with crypto kind of popping off, with Trump endorsing it, I thought what better time than to talk about crypto wallets and self-custody and things like that. And so that's what I wanted to get into today. So today we will be covering crypto wallets. And if you just show my screen, I'll get started with you guys. So today we will be covering crypto wallets, and let's get started. So today we will introduce how to securely store cryptocurrencies, identifying cryptocurrency blockchains, and how to send cryptocurrencies from one wallet to another. So let's get into that. So how to securely store cryptocurrencies. So there's two kind of ways that you could store cryptocurrencies. So the most secure way to store cryptocurrencies is usually through cold storage wallets. So the two that I recommend are Ledgers and Trezor. And so those are two kind of crypto wallets. So we have this one here. Personally, there's a Nano S and a Nano X version. I personally like the Nano S version just because I feel like it's a lot more secure. You do have to connect it to your computer in order for you to send those crypto transactions, whereas with the Nano X, you can use your phone. I find that, you know, with swim swapping and everything like that, I feel like it's a little less secure. So, and it is cheaper for the Nano S, so I think that one is a little bit better, despite it having a little bit less space. And then Trezor is just like a kind of different brand for a different cryptocurrency, it's just a different brand. You could still hold cryptocurrencies on there, but I have a Ledger personally. So you could have these two options as well. They range from around $100 to $200. And so that is an option that you can use. And I feel like they're the most secure ways to secure your cryptocurrencies. And then we also have some mobile wallets as well that I like. I use Phantom Wallet, Trust Wallet, MetaMask. And so these are the different mobile wallets that you could download on Google or on the Apple Store. And so those are some free options that you have as well. And so those are really secure. And so what matters most is your seed phrase. And so a lot of people think that, you know, it matters whether you get, you know, the Ledger, the Trezor, or the mobile wallet. But what matters most is keeping your seed phrase safe, because that is what is holding your assets on the blockchain. So it's not actually, the assets are not actually on the Ledger or the mobile wallets, it's on the blockchain. And so the seed phrase gives you kind of the key access to access the blockchain. So another thing that I have here at the bottom here is do not leave your coins on exchanges for long periods of time. So exchanges serve the purpose of trading or swapping coins. It should not be used for storage. So a lot of people, they keep their coins on like Binance or Coinbase, and you know, they just keep it there for long holdings. But we know with the FTX kind of exchange scandal, we know that sometimes exchanges can't be trusted no matter like if they're regulated or not, because we never know when one day they might just up and leave. And so it's better for you to have self-custody of your cryptocurrencies and have it on that Ledger, on that Trezor, or any of these mobile wallets, and those are secure as well. So when you create a mobile wallet, or if you buy a Ledger or a Trezor, it's going to give you a seed phrase. So when you buy these ledgers, you want to make sure that there is no seed phrase that are within the package. So you want to make sure that it's just a blank page, and you'll be able to have the seed phrase on the ledger. So you do want to make sure that when you open that package, there is not a seed phrase already on there. It should be on the ledger. And so it's going to give you a 12 to 24 word kind of string of words. So they're random, and it's 12 to 24. So you want to make sure that you're not taking a picture or electronically storing your seed phrase on any electronic device. Don't put it on your phone, don't put it on your computer, don't take pictures, don't put it in your email, don't put it in a text or notes. You want to make sure that it's off the grid completely, and you want to make sure that you're putting that seed phrase on a piece of paper. So when you get that seed phrase, you just want to write it on multiple pieces of paper and kind of store them in, places in your house where you want to make sure that you're not going to lose it or forget it. Me personally, I'm kind of crazy with it and neurotic, and I actually have my seed phrase in a sandwich bag just so that if there is a flood in my house, at least, there is some protection there. And I also have it in a briefcase, which is also in, what is it called, like a lockbox. And so I have that, and it's fire protected as well, because I'm really serious about keeping that crypto safe. And some people even go as far as embroidering it in like a piece of metal, or even like gold, for example. And so that is an option as well. I mean, I'm not too crazy there, but that is an option as well, just for like fire protection if there is ever a fire in your house and you're like really loaded on that crypto. And then again, just making sure, never lose or forget your seed phrase. So due to the self-custody nature of cryptocurrencies, losing your seed phrase means that you will lose permanent access to your crypto wallet. The seed phrase is the key to accessing your assets. So there's been many instances where people have lost the seed phrase and they had multi-millions of dollars of cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever the case may be, and then they just can't access it because they lost that seed phrase. So that seed phrase is your password, so make sure that you do not lose that, because if you do, well, you're just out of luck, to be honest, and there's nothing that you can do there. So there's that. So this is not real, so for you hackers, you're not going to get anything. But this is an example of a 12 to 24 seed phrase password. So it's going to give you a string of words. So we have like boy, cat, leg, gone, night, tent, lamp, coin, bat, egg, accuracy, network, whatever the case may be. It's going to give you a random string of words, and then you just write that on a piece of paper. And then again, I really would suggest that you write it on multiple pieces of paper just so that you don't lose it. And then we want to talk about the blockchain. So your assets are not on the ledger. So if someone were to steal my ledger, it wouldn't really matter unless they have my seed phrase. And so, so those assets are on the blockchain. So what is the blockchain? So the blockchain is a decentralized digital ledger that securely stores records across a network of computers. So that is that, and then it's kind of, I just showed this picture here because as transactions happen, so when you send an asset from one wallet to another, it's going to keep a transaction record of that, and it's going to show it went from wallet A to wallet B, from wallet B to wallet C, and so that is kind of the string that we have here. So there is that. So then also within the blockchain, we have multiple kind of assets within different blockchains. So blockchains such as Ethereum and Solana have alternative coins, altcoins that are a part of its ecosystem. So you want to make sure that when you are sending cryptocurrencies, you're not interchanging the different wallet addresses with different blockchains, because if you do that, you will lose your cryptocurrencies. So you have to be really sure about the blockchain that the asset is using. And so I will get into that, and we will make sure that you don't lose your money here. So examples of cryptocurrency blockchains, this is not all of the blockchains, but these are kind of the top three. So we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, which uses ERC20 tokens, and then we also have Solana, and then the abbreviation is SOL. So we have those three blockchains there. So on the Ethereum blockchain, we have different assets attached to it. So Ethereum, obviously, Dogecoin is also a part of the ERC. It's an ERC20 token and part of the Ethereum ecosystem. Tether is also part of the Ethereum ecosystem, and then there's also another digital currency called Aave, which is also an ERC20 token and is on the Ethereum blockchain as well. And then we also have Solana. Obviously, Solana is the key cryptocurrency on the Solana blockchain. We also have Radium, that is also part of the ecosystem. And then Tether, it can also be used on the Solana blockchain as well. So, and then with the Bitcoin ecosystem, it's just Bitcoin. So don't send any, Solana or Ethereum to your Bitcoin wallet. You want to make sure that it's just Bitcoin that's being sent. And so there is like other kind of cross chains that you can use, like Polygon, but that's kind of like beyond the scope of what we're getting into today. We just want to make sure that everyone's on the same page. And so just make sure that you're sticking to the asset matches, the blockchain that you're using. So making sure that they're compatible. So how do we make sure that the cryptocurrency that you're sending is compatible? So what I have here is when sending cryptocurrencies, it is important for you to identify the cryptocurrency's native blockchain. So what I can do here is I like to go to CoinGecko, and then if you scroll down a little bit, we have chains, and then this shows you the native chain for the cryptocurrency. So we have Solana here, the chain is here. If we were to go to Ethereum, scroll down there, and then we also have the native chain Ethereum ecosystem, and you could do that for any type of cryptocurrency. So if you are kind of unaware of what cryptocurrency is on what blockchain, you could just go to CoinGecko, scroll down, and then it's just going to show you here on the chain section. So that is going to help you very much so that you don't lose your money. And so, yeah. So moving on, so when sending cryptocurrencies from one wallet to another, you need to ensure two main things, right? So the wallet address is on the same blockchain as I've reiterated, and you also want to make sure that the wallet address is inputted correctly. So I'm going to get into that as well. Usually with the wallet address, it's kind of a string of letters and numbers, and you can usually just copy and paste it, or there's like a QR code that you can use, but you want to make sure that it's inputted correctly, because even one wrong letter or number, it will not go to the right wallet that you want to, and you will lose your assets. And so you want to make sure that is inputted correctly. So you just want to remember that cryptocurrency transactions are irreversible. If you do not input the data correctly, your assets will be lost forever without possibility of recovery. So you want to make sure that you're doing that properly, getting it right the first time. If you're impaired, just leave the cryptocurrency, trading to just don't do it at all, just so that you can do it properly. So that is what we have. And so this is an example of a wallet address. So the string of letters and numbers. So this is an example of a Bitcoin wallet address. And so you would just copy this, this string of letters and numbers, and then you would send it to, so say for example, you want to send your cryptocurrency to someone else, or someone is trying to send it to you. So say, for example, someone's trying to send you a cryptocurrency, you would send them this wallet address here, and then they would be able— Is that
your address?
No, this is not me. This is someone, yeah, you're not gonna get me, guys. But yeah, this is just some random address here. And yeah, so you could just send that there to them so that they could send you the cryptocurrencies. And so we have that there. And then we just want to make sure, again, so the ERC20 tokens go to the Ethereum network, the Bitcoin BTC goes to the Bitcoin network, and Sol goes to the Solana network. And then reiterating again, wallet addresses must match the assets compatible blockchain. Do not attempt to use the wallet address from one blockchain to another. Do not use a Bitcoin wallet address, for example, to send Solana coins. Your assets will be lost forever, forever, forever. And so just make sure that we have that. And then I did download Phantom here. Again, this is not real. I kind of just made it just so I can, show you guys, what it looks like. So this is an example of a cryptocurrency wallet. So if you want to receive cryptocurrencies, say for example, you want to receive Solana from somebody, you would just copy this address, send it over to them in a text message, and then they would be able to send you some cryptocurrencies, or you would be able to send them this QR code, and then they can scan it, and it would send it to you as well. So you have that, and then Phantom supports Solana, Ethereum, Polygon, and Bitcoin, and so you could do that as well. And then if you want to send some cryptocurrencies, you would get that wallet address from whoever you're trying to send it from. So say you want to use Solana. Why did that happen? Sorry about that. So yeah, say you want to send Solana, for example, you would just put in their wallet address here, the amount, and then you would send it off there. And then that concludes my lesson for today.
All right. Thank you.
No
Thank
problem.
you, Satya.
Yeah, I'll pass it off to Obi.
Yeah, no, you definitely gotta be very careful with protecting your crypto,
100%.
especially if you have decent sums like Satya, secretly a crypto millionaire here. But yeah, no, it's funny. We were literally talking about SIM swapping last night. There was a campus get together at the Firkin just yesterday, and it was solid. Yeah, I saw you in the chat, Neo, saying that brisket day 2. I'm like, is that a playbook setup? Brisket day 2? I think that's an A+ setup, right? That's what it sounds like. Yeah. So, all right, guys, we can let's get back to these stocks. These moves are crazy today. I don't know if you guys have seen Tesla today at all, but Tesla straight to the upside here. Absolutely wild. Look at this thing go. We started off underneath 300, tried to get that 300 yesterday, didn't quite come in, and came in today very, very aggressively off of the open. Now the bid has started to slow down a little bit. Markets are still pretty strong here. You can see the ES a lot stronger than the NASDAQ today. We finally did get past that 6,000 mark on the ES, and we're continuing to push even higher here. And there are a few other movers on watch as well. I know a lot of people in the chat, I was asking, what are you guys trading today? And Upstart was definitely one of the answers there. So Upstart moving to the upside as well. And another one, Satya, is DXYZ, Destiny Tech 100. Now these guys hold SpaceX. Again, you got to remember, SpaceX is a private company, but this is a holding company that holds SpaceX and a few other names as well. And SpaceX is one of their largest holdings, and this thing has been moving up along with Tesla. Now again, I think it's an election trade. You have Trump and Elon Musk right there. I feel like going forward, he's kind of secured the bag. Elon has secured the bag for himself. Let's say that with the kind of relationship he's building with the president-elect.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of these tickers are moving alongside with that sentiment. So absolutely crazy momentum here in some of these names, not all of the names, right? So you can see that distinctly different is Apple. So Apple is selling off while these markets kind of hold some strength, and Softy as well. So Softy's selling off as well, Google as well. So it is really kind of a Tesla and nothing really else. You have the Spider as well. Spider is actually climbing, pushing more fresh highs today. Again, we are definitely in a trending market. Yeah.
That is beautiful. I just want to ask, how did you find that DX, the ticker that you're just showing me?
DXYZ, I think it used to be, I'm pretty sure it used to be a SPAC. Correct me if I'm wrong, but we're looking for how can we look into SpaceX, and then I came across, I forget who mentioned it, but like I think it was about a year ago, and they're like, oh, this ticker actually has holdings of SpaceX.
Okay.
So that's kind of how I found it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I just love to know, like, what the background story of like how you find tickers. I find like even the process of just finding it is like something that you should know within itself, right? So yeah. That's why I was asking. I am still trying to set up here, but I will throw it back to you. Just give me 1 second here.
So another name I was kind of watching earlier today was IONQ. Now again, I was out. Full disclosure, I was out pretty late last night. With again everybody, met a lot of great traders at the campus meetup last night, and it was definitely a late night there. So decision making may not be the best today, and it's definitely showing up in my trading today. So I am kind of got the pedal off the gas a little bit, just chilling out, looking for setups to kind of set up, kind of dabbling in some ideas, not really giving too much risk. And not really being as aggressive, more really kind of like observing from the sidelines, waiting for setups. There was definitely some solid trades in the morning, but for now we're going to pass it off to Dara at the green screen.
Let's take a look here at some of the larger movers to the upside and the downside in the S&P 500. I always like to have a theme for this segment. So today's theme to be specifically names in the healthcare space, because if you see up here, I'll point it, there we go. Healthcare getting a lot of action to the upside and down, so I thought that'd be an interesting one to look at. Gonna start here with Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly yesterday moved up about 3-4%. Today, once again here, this looks like a continuation play still from Novo Nordisk's earnings. We know both Novo and Eli Lilly trading lower on Wednesday, which was day one for those earnings, but now pushing higher, even above previous resistance for LLY. Then we have Moderna, mRNA. This is day two earnings for Moderna, down about 5%. They actually did announce some positive news, though. They did receive Health Canada approval for their RSV vaccine for older Canadians there, but they also got a hold rating reiterated by Needham. And those results, initially they gapped up, but they pushed lower all day yesterday. Last but not least, PODD Insulet here, making a bit of a bull flag with higher lows and a flat top. Great report here from what I've seen. Earnings per share beat, sales beat, and they actually raised their fiscal 2024 revenue growth range. So good look here for PODD, guys.
Some of those tickers very, very directional. Like I was just talking to Neil, I was like, yeah, program buying, program selling on a couple of those, like Moderna straight down, Lilly straight up. That's absolutely wild. It
Really?
seems like maybe people are potentially repositioning.
Oh wow, yeah, that is very,
take a look
very
at that
distinct.
chart.
Yeah, that is nasty. Wow.
Very distinct.
Yeah, that was very interesting. I mean, I didn't. Okay, earnings was a couple of days ago on Thursday, and so yeah, huge sell-off off the earnings, and then the continuation on the second day. And so yeah, this does not look great. That looks pretty ugly there. I mean, where are we gonna stop? That's really the question here. And if I zoom out, I don't see like a clear local bottom. It just looks like it's tanking. Oh wow, yeah, like it looks like it's on its way down to around like 30.57. Like that is kind of like the next kind of level where I feel like it would start to base out. So that does not look too great there. Was there any other catalyst that you know of that with regards to Moderna? Or?
No, I haven't really looked at it. Adara pointed it out just now. At the green screen, I was like, oh boy, I got to pull that chart up because it is very directional. I don't know if there's a specific catalyst from today, but it seems like a price adjustment again. Q3 they did have earnings a couple of days ago, and we are breaking down. They actually had earnings yesterday, so a continuation play apparently from yesterday. We can see that yesterday aggressive selling all the way into the close, and continuation today happening. So yeah, earnings day two, continuation on Moderna, and I don't know about Lilly. I know that they also had earnings recently, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, so right here, October 30th, they had some earnings there. So yeah, a little bit further off of its earnings, but you can see that Wednesday sold off, and we're kind of reverting that move pretty much on the day today, 823s on Eli Lilly. So, but yeah, absolutely aggressive buying there. Again, I'm sure if you throw up a trend line or a moving average, we just kind of broke that. Look at that strong volume coming in at that prior candle there, high a day, 827.36 there on Eli Lilly. But look at that. As soon as we kind of start talking about it, that's funny. Trend starts to break. I wonder if that happens with Moderna as well. Let's see if that one catches
That's
a bid.
still kind of
Oh boy, yeah, that crack of 50. Look at that consolidation right off the open pre-market low break, and then end of day consolidation. Again, earnings day two. Look at that breakdown of that price right there. You cannot get above that 50 in this consolidation after the opening range break, and nice little continuation to the downside. So absolutely beautiful price action in this market here. Now there is a poll in the chat. So if you guys wanna check it out right here, midday check-in. How is your trading going? Crushing it? Meh, down, break time. Still waiting for that big move. You know what I'm gonna vote for? That's my vote right there. Boom. Still waiting for that big move. Nothing too crazy as of right now. We did have some big moves off of the open. Did I have them? Not really. Next trade. What's the next trade?
No, seriously, yeah. I'm still kind of waiting for that next trade as well. I haven't traded today, to be honest. I didn't really see anything that I've liked as of right now. Gaurav in the chat was bringing my attention to Nvidia, because I guess he knows I love Nvidia. But even though I see this double bottom here, so we had this bottom here, 10.15, and then this bottom here again at 11.03, or was it 11? Yeah, 11.03. I'm still just not convicted in this trade as of right now until it gets above VWAP. That's just personally my play. Again, anything below VWAP is short for me. and then anything above VWAP is a long. But I still am, like, even though it's below VWAP as of right now, I'm still not convicted in shorting it just because I do see this double bottom here. But for more conviction for this trade, I do want to see it get above that VWAP level for me to kind of get involved there. So I'm going to post an alert around 148.10, maybe a 148.27, and see if we can get up there. But as of right now, it's just like not looking too great for my type of setup. But yeah, that looks great. I see that you're in Tesla there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an idea. I'm probably going to get stopped out soon enough. But yeah. No,
Would you be mad if I went long on this? Because
absolutely, absolutely not. You can take that trade if you feel like that's your setup.
Yeah, I definitely see that as my setup as well. I just really like the fact that we have like this strong trend up. We didn't break below VWAP at all, and then we are bouncing off of that 9 EMA, and so I'm looking at like kind of this high to break around 319.45. I do think even getting in right now is still a good play, or if I miss that, maybe 319.56, and so that's what I'm looking at in terms of Tesla. How about you?
Yeah, no, I guess that's. I was looking at this as like a breakdown, but it's not really getting to VWAP. I was looking for those lower highs. Not really happening. Aggressive buying coming in right now as we break some of these prior highs here. So let's see if we can potentially get to that 320, only about 2 points away from that one there. As we push into that 318, again, market's pretty strong here. We're trading above 21,200 as of right now here on the Nasdaq, and the ES attempting to push into 6,025 here on the ES. So yeah, Tesla's super strong on the day. I'm looking I'm kind of just patiently waiting. I think this can easily break through that high a day, and if it doesn't, let's see if we make a lower high and kind of bring it back in towards some of those moving averages, maybe towards VWAP as well. But the bid can't stop, won't stop here on Tesla.
For sure. Yeah, so yeah, I think I'm going to get involved there. I did get involved in Nvidia by accident. I guess I must have clicked the wrong ticker there, so I'm just going to get out of that. Oh, no. I'm going to pass it on to you, though, while I get this started.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, so while Satya sets up for that potential trade, let's take a look at what you guys are trading. People talking about subs in the chat, talking about MSTR. Let's take a quick look at MSTR and see what's going on there. MSTR. I know a lot of crypto names have been moving over the past couple of days as well. I'm sure Satya is more than familiar with that. But yeah, let's see how these ones have been faring up. Yesterday, MSTR was hella strong on the day, but taking back some of those wins here on the day today. Let's see Mara as well, Mara and Riot. I know that one was pretty crazy right yesterday. You look at that. Actually, no, on Wednesday it was pretty strong there. Bit of a chip chop yesterday, and coming into a bit of a range today. It seems like range lows at 1889 and highs at 1943 here on Mara. Let's take a quick look at Riot as well. Riot not really doing too much, still within like just sideways range, it would seem. Continuing on this one here on Riot platforms. And of course, let's take a look at BTC itself and see what that has been doing. These are all-time highs here at that 77,000. Look at that clean test, 76,999s on Bitcoin. So it seems like that's it's consolidating a little bit higher there. We've stepped up. We've broken those prior highs, and now we're consolidating above some of those prior highs there. So Bitcoin looking super strong as well. I'm looking for the next trade, guys. I know people are talking about, okay, SoFi, Tony Price, thank you. Yeah, send me some tickers and we can take a look at them. And I want to see if there's anything super strong, if there's anything in a range, if there's anything super weak. We just saw Lilly, we just saw Moderna. Let us know in the chat what tickers you might be looking at. Is there anything that might be doing a little bit of an overextension? Or any sort of like outlier action? Do you guys watch the tape? That's another question I have as well. Do you guys watch the tape at all? And if so, how do you guys watch them? SoFi, super strong on the day, almost back towards day highs there. I guess it did come back into VWAP, and look at that beautiful VWAP bounce, just above the opening range highs as well on SoFi. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. Coin, right? Of course, how can I forget Coin? How can I talk about crypto and forget about Coinbase? Coinbase, hella strong off of the open there, and it seems like we've given back about 50% of that on a pullback right here. But it seems like that initial pullback of that opening drive seems like we found a bit of a base here. What is that? At 264s underneath VWAP. So let's see who comes out on top on this one. Buyers from the morning, definitely. If you were in from earlier than earlier than 9:45, you're still kind of chilling for the longs. But again, if you got in anywhere past that, you're a little bit out of the money as VWAP, as we're trading below the average weighted price there, volume weighted average price words. Yeah, no, let's see what some of these tickers have in store for us going forward. Foxo, what is Foxo? Foxo Technologies, huh? Interesting. This one, is it doing a little bit of RVOL? Increasing RVOL as well. It is a penny stock as it trades under $1, but doing some decent volume right now. 418 million shares traded on the day here on Foxo. Are you all set up with
Yeah, so yeah, I was in this Tesla trade, and I'm not really liking the action that I was seeing on the tape. I got in at 317.73s, and so it's kind of whiffling and waffling there. What I should have done is, I think that, so on the 3-minute, I was seeing kind of like this close hug to the 9 EMA. But as I look like on the 15-minute, I'm kind of seeing this gap, this 9 EMA, a possible retracement here to around 312.54. But I'm thinking that if it breaks 317, then I'm going to hop out of this trade, just because I don't want it to extend a little bit further than that. I kind of wanted to see it kind of touch the 9 EMA and then get up there, but it seems like this trade is not really what I had thought it was, to be honest. And so I think that, there is probably still a continuation to the upside, but I think that I'm kind of catching it on the pullback as of right now. And so I'm not really liking what I see just for my own personal playbook. So I think I'm going to punch out there. So yeah, I'm going to get out of that. Don't really like that. What is the next trade, as you would say, that, and so I don't want to hold on to it just because, I got into it. I'm not liking what I'm seeing. And so if I don't like what I see immediately, I'm just going to get out and just move on to something else. And so you did mention coin. Let's see what coin is doing here. Yeah, we do have like some breakdown here. It's below VWAP, which I kind of like for the initiation of the short. Let's see if there is some other levels that we're looking at. It seems like when I zoom out a little bit, it looks like this is a significant level from Wednesday and then as well as Thursday. So if we look here around this 259.80 level, this looks like a place where we might get to. Who knows what we're going to do at that point, but I think from here we could definitely see around that 260 mark. And so that looks very interesting as well. And I think that, yeah, this would be a good setup for the short. So I think that this is I'm going to get filled a little bit lower. I just want to make sure that, I don't just jump in there. But I think if we can reasonably get to around 263.23, I think that the continuation of the short looks good. And then I'll take profits around this 260 mark and see if we can bounce off that level, because it was a significant level on Wednesday or Thursday, or if we just break through that level and continue short. And then my next bus stop level would probably be the day's low here around 257.45. How about you? I was about to call you Sharif.
Yeah, no, Sharif will likely be back on Monday next week. So yeah, no, I'm just kind of watching this price action on Tesla again. Tesla, huge trade today through that 300. I know that Sean was talking about how I was like yesterday. I'm like, the idea is to take inventory through the 300. I attempted to do that yesterday. I actually missed the trade here. I had an order in sitting just above that 300 as an aggressive order to remove liquidity. But I guess I definitely wasn't first in line for that one there. And I think as soon as it kind of ripped, as soon as it broke, it ripped like 2 points right off of that. I guess right off of that open. Actually, I want to go to the second chart here and see how take a quick look at how aggressive that pop actually was, and we can take a look at it together here as I pull it up here through the 300 mark. That was earlier this morning here. I'm going to 1 second chart. This is absolutely wild.
Oh, wow.
Look at that. Okay, so let me pull this one in right here. So this is a 1 second chart. So each candle here is 1 second, and this is the break of the 300. So it gets through in 1 second, in 1 second, the high of the candle is 300 halves. The next second, we're at 302s. So within 2 seconds, you're printing the half, and then you print a 1.5 even further all the way at 302s. Absolutely crazy strength there. That again, I was honestly, what was I think I was crossing like I think 15, 20 pennies. Nah, that you're not getting. Yeah, I just realized I'm like, yeah, you're not getting that.
So what do you think a suitable kind of cross would be in this instance?
I think maybe cross like a couple of points even, right? It's like, how bad do you really want that break becomes the question. Because even after we did break up for 2 points, we did pull back to 301. So you can be like, all right, I'm going to let it break and then watch for the pullback to see if there's any follow through. And then it definitely had some follow through. But I was doing some monkey tilting and just to kind of I was like, well, let's see if I can take it back through that 300. But was not the best idea there on the day. The idea was, again, we continued very aggressively. We pulled back to 312s. We're holding higher highs above VWAP as of right now, poised for a potential break of high of day. So let's see what Tesla has in store for us going forward today. But yeah, no, absolutely crazy. We talk about some of the other tickers that are kind of related, that are moving around like this. DXYZ is moving. I don't know if DJT is continuing to sell off. It is a Friday. We've been selling off for the past few days here. Let's see if people maybe are bringing in that buying pressure via maybe covering their positions. But it is a Friday. I have no idea. We are breaking past prior days, some of prior days levels here on DJT. So some nice little volume spike there as well off of this test of 32. That's interesting. But look at that. We've only been holding above VWAP on the day today. And DJT finally catching a little bit of a bid after a few days of sell-off there. Again, election day one, the very aggressive sell-off and some significant volume that this ticker did as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely think that that's very valid there. So this coin trade, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm not gonna lie with this trade because I thought that once I got filled, it would have broke down a little bit further. But as I got filled, we're bouncing up a little bit to this around 265 level. I don't necessarily think I'm wrong until we do break VWAP, but it's not looking great for me as of right now. So I may punch out of this as well, but I do want to see what it does at that level. I think I'm wrong around 267. I think that is the best kind of room to give it without, just jumping out of it just because of a little bit of a price action. Like the trend may, still follow, but just a little bit nervous about that. But I'm interested what you guys have in the chat. Someone said, what else do we got here? DJT pumping again. Let's see here. Yes, it is pumping. This looks like a better play, actually. This looks like, so what I really like about this trade specifically is it bounced off of VWAP. Look at that, like those distinct candles. Like, look how they closed. Just bounced off of there, strong wick up, and then we don't really break below where it kind of closed. And so I really like the look of that. I think that this is a significant level, right where that shelf is, around $29.98, call it 30s, $30. And so that looks really good as well. Looks like, it's curling up to the upside. I really want to see a break of that 31 level. I think that that is a significant level for us to kind of break through and then try to approach these highs around 32.05. And so that is what I'm looking at. And so we did miss an ad read. We do have an ad read though. So Firefly Neuroscience has taken a bold step. No, we're not. Oh, I am. Okay, sorry. Go into Dara.
We're going to take a look here at some of these earnings names, as we always do around 11:40. So some of the day one plays that either reported last night or tomorrow morning. I wanted to start with a firm, AFRM, doing the opposite of Upstart, which is in a kind of a similar space. If you've seen Upstart, it ran all morning. A firm, which also has a decent short float there and in a similar space, down about 11% SSR here, despite a pretty strong report. They beat on GAAP earnings per share. They beat on sales. They also said apparently they're looking to achieve GAAP operating income profitability for by Q4 2025. So that's a good look. They also had some guidance here for fiscal 2025 GMV and their Q2 revenue guidance, but I'm not really seeing how that compares to estimates. Either way, analysts not apparently super enthused here with AFRM, nor are traders. Then we've got Rivian, RIVN, pretty flat on the day, making a bit of a triangle with these lower highs, higher lows, down just under 1%. They missed on earnings per share, larger than expected loss. They missed on sales. They did actually say they're on track for their 2024 delivery targets. There were also some comments made by its CEO, RJ Scaringe, to Reuters. He said basically that their supply issue really impacted Q3, but he's not expecting that to extend into fiscal 2025. He also said that they're analyzing some outcomes that could come into play with the change in administration, which is Donald Trump, who's not necessarily going to be super EV friendly with these. The Republican Party is generally how it's viewed, so we're going to have to see how that goes. But RJ Scaringe saying they're continuing to evaluate that. They also said part of the issue with Q3 has to do with that parts shortage story, which meant they weren't able to build all of the products that they were intending to do so for that quarter. On Monday morning, we've got some reports here. Monday actually reporting on a Monday morning, which is pretty apt. Analysts are looking for 63 cents in earnings per share and revenue of 245.67 million. Also, New Ellis, recent repeated small cap runner, they're going to be reporting Monday morning as well, guys.
Awesome. Thank you for that, Adara. So Firefly Neurosciences has taken a bold step in advancing brain health technology. In collaboration with Bright Minds Biosciences, Firefly's innovative AI-powered platform has successfully analyzed data from groundbreaking Phase 1 clinical trials using advanced EEG technology to track brain activity. This data unlocks new potential in treating neurological and mental disorders, reinforcing Firefly's position at the forefront of brain health innovation. As they prepare for Phase 2, this partnership signals exciting developments for the future of neuropsychiatric treatments, Firefly Neurosciences, shaping the future of brain health, guys.
Right, thank you. Yeah. A lot of people in the chat were putting in that, are we in, I think Gino was asking, are we in a bubble? Dude, I have no idea, but the markets are definitely uptrending. We are in a bull market. Again, this is nothing new. We've been in a bull market for quite a while now. Again, when you have tickers that are pushing all-time highs, you definitely I guess might think that we're in a bubble with the strength. But the thing is, I'm not. I guess it's way above my pay grade. I have no idea. I like to trade the price action. Price action is telling me that we are pushing all-time highs. And so, does that mean you should only be getting long? Maybe, but definitely the longs are working. I know that people who are swinging positions as well in heavy in tech are definitely laughing also. So a lot of strength in this market, but again, not everything is strong, right? Not everything is strong. We talk about Tesla is strong on the day today, but Softy, Apple, Alphabet, Amazon, some of the other Mag 7 not really feeling that kind of a buying pressure, and you can see it kind of reflected here on the Nasdaq. Nasdaq's been kind of pretty much trading within its opening range there, distinctly different from the ES here, as it is in a very strong uptrend on the day today. I just want to check how small caps are doing as well. We can check the IWM, the Russell, as well as of right now, a bit of a chip chop right here as we trade sideways on top of VWAP here on IWM. So nothing too crazy. I guess we can do a quick look at how different sectors are kind of moving around as well to try and find some things that are maybe relatively strong or relatively weak here. So you can see right here, it seems like defensive industrials are up. Healthcare, we saw what Lilly is doing. Utilities are up. Financial tickers are definitely up today. And you can see here some of the semiconductors definitely taking a hit. Technology not really going too far. Oracle apparently is up, and oh boy, what is this over here? Tesla, 7%. That's absolutely wild, eh? Pretty crazy there on that move on Tesla. Absolutely. Like again, I think today, if I was talking to Brankles about this. It was like that 300 was definitely very much anticipated, right? And if you really wanted that level, maybe you're sitting in the pre-market with some of those orders at that 300. Maybe you're sitting from days before. I have no idea. But if you wanted that 300 push, then you definitely had to be a little early to be first in line with that one there. Look at that selling coming in on Tesla. A little bit of aggressive selling I'm watching on the tape here. We failed to follow through day highs right there. But let's see if we continue to make higher lows, right? We have been making higher lows. We've been holding the 21 EMA as well. Last time we dipped down here, this area right here, pretty much a flat bottom at that 312. And we held that 21 EMA on that. We're back at the 21 EMA right now. I have it at 315.20. We're trading at 315s as of right now. A little bit of size on the book at that 315. Let's see, nothing too significant. We're looking at that 300 mark. I think there was a few thousand shares on that break, but that again, we just looked at the second chart. That break came in hot, real aggressive. 2 points within 2 seconds. First second, half a point. Next second, point and a half. On Tesla through that 300 break, so it was quite a move there. But again, if you were watching the chart and we were looking at some of the trend that was happening, and you were playing it for the play into earnings, then yeah, I think that high 200s, the 290s, the 300s, definitely a little bit of I guess a stop. I know you like to call them bus stops, right?
Yeah,
it's like
yeah.
a bus stop along the way, for sure.
No, yeah, I that is very valid there. I'm just flipping through some tickers as of right now, trying to get some ideas. Usually I'm more of like a morning drive trader, so kind of things dry up around this time for me, to be honest. So I'm just flipping around. I'm trying to see things in play. I was trying to see some earnings names. I was looking at Airbnb. Doesn't really look like something that I'd really, Adara's clapping back there.
I just saw the chat. She had a trade on an Airbnb.
Oh, really? She did? Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, she's probably killing it over there. I was just thinking about where I could possibly get into. Typically, I like kind of the break of the pre-market low, but typically that is usually during the morning drive. So using it kind of like later in the day is kind of dicey a little bit, but the level that I'm kind of looking at here is around 133.84. It did have kind of like this double top here, 137.68, had a top here at 950, and then 137.21 had a top there as well, and then just huge sell-off as well, and then we can see kind of a shelf here, 136.46 before the continuation of this short here. I like the fact that it's trailing this 9 EMA, but I just don't like the fact that it's kind of like in this range, like we have this range here around 132.77, and then we have this kind of top here. And so, I don't know, I just don't like this usually. I don't like the fact that it hasn't like broken this day's high yet or broken this day's low yet. And so we're kind of like in that middle ground. So I don't know what Adara did with it. I'd really love to pick her brain about that. Here says, oh, true, I didn't even think of that. That is tough. I am very lucky to be in the position I am for sure. The limited day trades has to be limiting, no pun intended.
Yeah. Do we want to pass it to Dara? So
yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to? Is that cool? You want to talk about your trade there?
Yeah, sure. I did not see this coming, but thank you. So yeah, I liked this. I initially looked long here. The long, it worked for a second until it didn't. I was trying to take profit here. That didn't happen. Then I basically ended up getting short because I noticed we were really struggling with 136.25. I get short. We get right into 136.25. I was giving it to 136.50. And then we reject here right away. I take the first profit there, 135. I had saved a piece, but then when I went to put my stop in, I typoed it. It looks like that worked out because we're bouncing back here. I have nothing else on this, but happy I took the trade. And yeah, it's just sometimes be ready to flip up the mindset, I guess.
Nice. That's a really clean short. I like that you flipped from the long to the short as soon as you kind of noticed that trend broke back to the downside. Solid. Nice trading on Airbnb. Today is earnings day one, right? Yeah. Okay. So I did kind of have this one on watch earlier, but again, focus was on Upstart and Tesla. And then when that 300 on Tesla came in, I kind of took eyes off of some of these earnings names. But yeah, no, solid trade there. Do we have an anchored there? No, that's a previous anchored. So let me throw up an anchored here on this reaction candle right here from earnings and see where that's sitting relative to what price did today. Okay, so absolutely extended off of even anchored VWAP there today, but kind of washing its intraday VWAP as of right now. But yeah, no, a little bit of ranging action. You can see that failure to follow through of its highs and a bit of a base here at 133s with the 132.77 day low on Airbnb. Yeah, nice price action and solid trade there on Airbnb. Let's take a quick look at what tickers are doing the most volume right now. I like to do this with you guys every now and then just to see what tickers again could be poised for some opportunities to take off the board there or take off from the price action is what I mean. So Tesla, again, we know we're watching it actively. It's kind of trading sideways right now. That morning momentum definitely a little bit dissipated as of right now. Nvidia, oh boy, this one, I was queuing up for that 150 break, and that didn't really come in. You look at that nice little consolidation in the pre-market. Since 4 a.m., we consolidated 149.95 there on Nvidia and a strong flush in the pre-market as well. Bids right back up, and we failed to follow through past that 149.50, and look at that selling aggressively coming in. And now we're kind of bidding up after we double bottomed right here, 146.26 area. Bit of a buying pressure showing up there a couple of times, and now we're pushing right back up into VWAP. So let's see what VWAP has in store for us right here. Bit of a confluence with this sell-off consolidation low right here coming in at that VWAP as well. So let's see if this support that did break down turns into resistance now when it's confluence with VWAP here on Nvidia. So that's an interesting look there. DJT, we've been watching that one as well. Nothing too crazy, pretty much sideways action. The morning momentum, I guess, was quite nice. Wasn't really watching this one there. Lucid, didn't these guys have earnings as well? Yes, they did. So Lucid trading about 55 million shares as of right now. Not really doing too much relative volume here. You can see that it's about 1.2, 1.3. So it is a $2 ticker, and we've traded about 55 million shares on the day. So nothing too crazy in terms of dollar volume going through this name as of right now, even though it is earnings day one. But strong sell-off nonetheless off of the open there, trading below VWAP. A bit of an extension. Look at that volume candle. Oh boy, that 211 low. Is that capitulation? I have no idea. I was not really watching it, but just from the chart, maybe potentially one of the strongest sell volumes on the day, and then catching a bit of a bid off of that level as of right now on Lucid. Now Palantir, we know that Sean was talking about this one in the morning. Palantir very strong there. We did have a bit of a double top yesterday. There it bid back up near high a day going into the close there, and we finally kind of broke out of that this morning, trading above VWAP. And an aggressive bid coming in off of this range break as well. Look at that strong candles back to back, holding their prior lows, and then finally when that pattern kind of dissipates, you can see the pullback in reversion to VWAP when those bidders kind of dissipate there, happening on Palantir. IONQ, same thing. I did not have IONQ on watch until I logged into the PC here for the midday, and this is what I was trading yesterday, right? I was looking at this and I was like, oh boy, that reversion came in beautifully. I think earnings day two. I was looking for the reversion here. Didn't really come in, but comes in today with that continuation bid off of the open. And when that bid kind of falls off back through 25 as well, that's some nice confluence. I like 25 as a level to maybe look at if and when price kind of gets there. And look at that nice little confluence for the breakdown back towards VWAP and even further past VWAP right there. So absolutely crazy action on that one. SMCI earnings day two as earnings day three, I think today, right? Okay, yeah. So we reported Tuesday night, Wednesday, nothing too crazy. Thursday we actually catch a bit of a bid, and now we're kind of taking a bit of a breather going into the end of the week here, trading again in and around that 25 mark right there, holding as a resistance with the most recent action that SMCI has been showing. NEO, another one. Let's see if some of these EV tickers, if they're all selling off here. NEO as well, bit of a sell-off on underneath VWAP there, trading at $5. 501 is the day low. That's interesting. $5 always an interesting price for tickers there in general. SoFi, we talked about this one earlier. SoFi pretty strong on the day, still trading above VWAP. Now again, we're going down. I don't want to go through the whole list, but we've gone through a decent chunk, half of that list there of the volume leaders on the day. Some strong price action on some of those, but some of those not really looking too great, just choppy sideways action on that. What do you got going on, Satya?
For sure. So yeah, people in the chat, they're talking about Nvidia. And so yeah, I thought that it was in play. I just really wanted more confirmation for my trade specifically. But I do like what I'm seeing as of right now. I do like that double bottom. It is approaching VWAP. I do have an order sitting here around 148.06, 10, and so hopefully we get filled with that 4-cent cross, and so I'm looking to catch that on the way up as it breaks through this VWAP level. So hopefully we don't get faked out, but I think that this double bottom was lots of confirmation there, and then we do have the shelf here, 147, and it looks pretty good for the upside here. And what I also notice as well is kind of like the RVOL is starting to move up a little bit. I'm starting to see a little bit of like an ascending kind of movement there, and so that's what I really like to see on Nvidia as well. I was just flipping through other tickers just to see, if there is other opportunities, just because I feel like Nvidia as of right now is my best opportunity personally. I was looking through BABA because I saw that on my trending ticker list. I feel like I missed a lot of these moves, to be honest. I feel like I should have caught these like in the morning, and so trying to get in as of right now really, isn't the best look. I should probably save my capital for, better setups here. But I was looking at this as well, trying to see how I could, kind of weasel my way in here. But I think the money trade on this one would have been like the pre-market low. That would have been my trade there right out in the morning. And so that looked really good. But as of right now, it's kind of just like in this middle ground here. It did double bottom a little bit, 11.11, and then again at 11.43 around this 93.86, 93.85 level. And so it looks like it's trying to get up there. This is on the 1 minute. If I even look on the 15 minute, but on the 15 minute, it's still looking ugly there. But usually it's not in my playbook to kind of get in like on these lows because it could just bounce up and then just whiffle and waffle there. I'm just not seeing too much distinction there for BABA. Also looked at DraftKings because that was on my trending ticker list as well. Still kind of feel like I missed the move on this one as well. I mean, we are approaching VWAP, and so I would, in my playbook trade, look for like the bounce off of VWAP, but I'm not seeing that volume really. Like once it got to this level, 41.36, 41.35, it really just shot down there, and so I'm not seeing, too much volume coming in there as of right now. And then also looking at AXON, this was also on the trending ticker list. We also had earnings in the aftermarket from yesterday, and I'm just not seeing enough. I feel like I just kind of missed the move, to be honest, and I don't want to be chasing those moves. So I'm just going to wait for this break, 148.06, 148.10, and then really wait for that Nvidia trade because I think that is my best trade. And then someone's saying Amoy Rivian ripping some. Let's see, because I need to see some tickers moving, and I'm really not seeing that. So let's see what you guys are looking at. I mean, yeah, it's ripping a little bit off from 11.30. I do like the fact that it's kind of approaching this 10.20 mark, but I want to see it get above that level. I feel like, it could, just be in a range, and so we really want to see the break of that above that 10.20 level. Maybe I want to see 10.25, 10.30. I wouldn't necessarily get in here as of right now, but it looks pretty good for the setup. I like the fact that these green candles are coming in. They're not closing too much below the other one, and so I just want to see a hold of that VWAP. But again, getting in this middle really isn't in my playbook. Around 10.25 is what I'm looking at in terms of Rivian. What else do we got here? Thoughts on Tesla? I mean, you're in that Tesla still. Any word on that?
I mean, it's consolidating underneath that day high there, but I don't know. I think it is kind of making higher highs and higher lows, holding above VWAP, trying to push for that high of day as of right now. But we did observe a little bit of aggressive selling that did come in earlier. But yeah, let's see. I have no idea when and if it'll break through that high of day. But the markets are still super strong, so that's all I got on Tesla right there as of right now. So let's see how this one ends off on the day here. High of day as of right now is 319.42, and low of day, oh boy, low of day right off of the open there. Let's see, opening range low is the low of day right now, 297.66. So yeah, I know. I know that Sean definitely had that 298 in the morning, and shout out to Brankles as well. He definitely had a solid trade on Tesla as well today, taking that opening drive push through that 300, taking that inventory through that 300 as well. Definitely one of the top trades on the day today. Oh boy, what is this one? This one just dumped a little bit here. Veil, okay, interesting. Some strong selling on the day as of right now. I just want to go check Moderna here. Okay, so Moderna did revert a little bit there. I was like, oh, let's check on Moderna to see if there's a reversion potentially happening. Last time we looked at it, it's the day 2 continuation sell. It's strong selling off of the open there. And look at that little push off of the trend break happening as of right now. So, and the other one was Lilly. Lilly still hasn't broken trend as of right now. Still strong to the upside. So maybe one to keep an eye on there on Eli Lilly. DJT to 31, everyone's saying, all right, what's DJT up to? Let's take a quick look. Is that thing continuing to push? I mean, still sideways, guys. Still sideways within this range from earlier there. So nothing too crazy, but maybe definitely one to keep an eye on there on DJT. What do you got going on?
I'm actually looking at that DJT as of right now. I do see that consolidation, which I don't like, but I want to see it kind of get around 31.18, 31.22. So I think that, I'll take a stab on that as well. I do like the fact that it had like this strong wick there. So I'm probably going to be risking to that level, not going to give it any more than that, to be honest. So that looks pretty decent as well. I like the fact that it's kind of bouncing off of that 9 EMA. And so, I would be worried because we do see that consolidation here. And so it's been really tight for a while since like around 10 a.m. until now. And so, but we do want to see that volume here. I do want to see what's happening on the tape. I do have it filtered out. Let's do a little bit higher in shares. I'm going to do 100 size and then just have my filter that on 100 in terms of size. And so we're seeing some green action on the tape here. And it looks pretty decent as well, but if I don't see follow through at that 31, then I'm probably just going to take my order out because I really want to see that push aggressively at that $31 level. I don't want to see it just get to like 31s, 02s, or 05s and then bang back down from there. I really want to see the tape picking up from that level. And so it looks like it's coming in 04s, 05s, it's coming in. We're looking pretty hot there. And so, yeah, this is the action that I want to see. And so this looks pretty decent on the tape here. Not necessarily going to punch in now, even though I'm seeing that green, but I do want to see that confirmation at 31.18. And I just got filled as of right now. So we're going to see what it does from here. And that looks really good as well. And then someone's saying Ripon, BA moving. Let's see what BA is doing. And AXON is moving as well. That was very interesting. I didn't think that this would have, made that type of move, but that is very interesting. But I'm going to move over to Boeing. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Yeah, that psychological level, that 150, bounced off of that and then strong. Oh my God, it just.
Boeing has news?
Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, what's that? Oh, do you know the news?
I have no idea, but you know what? We're gonna pass it off to Dara and then to Neil because it is time for the lesson of the day.
The only news I'm seeing on Boeing is this previously reported story that apparently their furloughed workers will be paid for lost time. So this is actually reported as of this morning, not new, but I'm seeing this recirculate. Not sure, though, why it's moving as of right now. We know Boeing has some catalysts come midday, so if I do see anything, I'll let you know. As of right now, there's nothing. We have the S&P 500 outperforming the Qs a little bit here. So here's the NASDAQ up 0.03%. Then the S&P 500 up about 0.4%. We do have, of course, the aftermath of the Fed rate decision, which was received pretty positively. We didn't even really get the typical Jerome Powell reversion after his comments, but basically the Fed did exactly what we thought they did. They cut rates by 25 basis points yesterday. We did get a bit of a higher than expected University of Michigan consumer sentiment print, but it didn't move these markets too much. S&P 500 near high of days. Upstart on watch here after a well-received earnings report. This one's still pumping higher, up about 50% here and actually trying to bounce off of 80s. That report well-received and that 31% short float certainly helps. Then we have DJT making new day or trying to make new day's highs here with the exception of that wick at 10-12. We did have Donald Trump posting on his platform, Truth Social, which is DJT, Trump Media there, saying that there are fake and probably illegal rumors and or statements suggesting that he is looking to sell his stock. He said those rumors are false and he is not looking to sell Truth. Now, last but not least, we do have GME here. This one a bit of a range, but strong on the day, still up about 2.5%. GME getting quite a few pops at the open and at the midday. So GameStop with no news, always on people's minds with that 9% short float. Now we're going to pass things over to Neil and see what he's thinking for his lesson of the day. Take it away.
Thank you very much, Adara. The lesson of the day brought to you by the earnings moves. because traders stay late, not just so they can see the hot fire action when things are reporting or get lots of knowledge like we had with Brian Shannon and Sean yesterday, but sometimes it's to get some indications for where to look. And I prefer earnings that report aftermarket because you get a little bit more wild trading action, I think, because overnight money is a little different story than the pre-market when you have the entire day. But what it does provide you is an opportunity to look at where buyers come in and to avoid, or sellers, and then use that information for the next day. Now, I'm going to candidly show you, and again, I already slapped a fail on myself for not having this trade. Upstart, big gap up post earnings, pulling back, pre-market, aftermarket support, 63.50, the key hold, then look 65 break. Patient, falling early. So what I meant by that was it was gapping back up into aftermarket highs, and it was dropping back in. But if you look at the stair-step pattern up, that last hold, which it did twice, was at about 63.5. So therefore, you had while it was falling in, an area of support to look for, and then I just look from there to 65, lower high resistance. So look for it to break away from 65 if it holds 63.5. If it goes down to like 60 and it's parabolic into 65, it's a different trade. But it held on to first support, giving you that breakout to there. And then obviously the rest is going to be history. You know what Upstart did. But it's not the only stock that gave you a potential setup. Airbnb, and I know we usually like long setups, but this one, quite frankly, wasn't a long setup, so what are you going to do? Airbnb was an initial move higher, big move higher, as we can all see here. Then gave it all back as the numbers got digested, and then you get the call comes through, and by the next day, you're gapping lower. But the key part here is where it found early support and where it found late support is about $140. It fails that instantly once volume starts coming in the morning and putting in lower highs. In that particular case, it's a simple over-under. If it's under $140, you're looking to fade at any obvious level. It's like the old short the pop situation. So it gives it to you right away, short into the first resistance, and that's all it ever did. Short to first resistance, both times. It's under 140, your bias is set because there's longs trapped based on that price action, and it's underneath an obvious resistance level. So you try to keep it as simple as you can when it comes to a trade like this on Airbnb. And then the last one I'll give you, and unfortunately I know you like long setups more than short setups, Lucid gives a different type of short setup. In this particular case, you had the breakout. It showed you a 250 high on Lucid's earnings. You get the pullback, and again, that higher low support area in here at 240 where you had some accumulation, that becomes your first target on Lucid. In this case, it's flat in most of the pre-market. It pops, tries to get back out and about above that 40 level. I think that above here would have been a good breakout, but it fails. Once it fails, I'm not saying you need to be short in there, but once it fails, you're looking for a short retracement. And where does it confirm the short? Well, I like VWAP, so that would be an easy answer, but that's not really it. This is just a bad dark pool wick. It's this wick right here. Your support underneath was 230. And so you got that 230 where it bottom wicked on the way back to the upside. And when you zoom it back in, it's just technically how it works. You want confluence to your trades. It's at VWAP, it's at 230. That was that bottom on earnings. Support turning into resistance. It's already failed underneath that top. And then it gives you confluence underneath the 230, which also happens to be VWAP, so you can then just start reloading at VWAP. A lot of times, you're going to get information out of something that you never trade. And you might never make a single execution on an earnings name. I promise you, most people are going to look at what happens in like an Airbnb. You see that chart and like, I'm never trading earnings. But you can take a hint when longs possibly trapped, the price action was a big reversal. How could you not favor a short? And then just look to where the key supply zones were. And if it can't get back above that, why would you think anything else than looking for short entries? In the case of Upstart, I think you didn't want to catch a falling knife with it this morning, but it did show you that it held the same support level from before. So when it held the higher low support, you got to be looking for long entries, whether that's this break, Whether that's this break, whether that's this break, that's up to you. But it gave you everything you needed despite being trend down in the morning. So those earnings looks are going to give you opportunities time and time again to simply observe the price actions, see where orders come in, see where volatility gets abated, and you find some equilibrium. And then the next day, you can use those as key indication price levels. So a few examples there for you. And during earnings season, that's exactly when you want to take advantage of these. Here's your lesson of the day.
All right. Thank you, Neil, for that lesson of the day. Definitely.
Thank you.
Earnings day ones and day twos I think are
What do you
pretty
prefer?
solid. You know what? Honestly, I think there was a time last year where I was preferring the earnings day twos a little bit better. But as of late, this season and prior season as well, day ones have been giving some good opportunity. But day twos, I think are always on the table. You have that initial day one that gives you that elevated volume, maybe some shorter term players as well. People are getting in due to kind of seeing and observing some of the fundamental changes happening off of the earnings report. Whatever it is, right? You have a strong relative volume day. And you have whatever price action. You have some lows, you have some highs, you have some consolidations. Maybe if you're watching the tape, you're watching some levels. Maybe you have more information about potential participants on the day one. And then when day two comes in, if you interact with those day one prices or areas and look for potential opportunities, I think there could be something there as well for the day twos. But day ones have been pretty nice as well. Again, you can see what Upstart did today. You can see what Lyft did today. There were a few names that again, very directional off of earnings, right? So you can kind of get with the trend on some of those. How about you? How do you feel about earnings names, and is that a part of your playbook?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I really do like earnings plays. I usually go to those first actually when I'm looking for those momentum trades. Typically, I really like the day twos, to be honest. I find sometimes I can get a little bit faked out because sometimes I feel like I was weighing too heavily on like what the earnings was. Like if it was like an earnings beat, then I would be like, oh, like it's good to go long. But sometimes it could kind of bamboozle you there. Whereas like on the day two earnings day, at least I feel like I can identify significant levels to really risk off of or see where there could be a breakthrough there. So I think day twos are a little bit better for me, just because it gives me more confirmation, more confluence there. But yeah, that's just what I like. But I do like the earnings play in terms of just like identifying momentum for the week. Even if I don't play it on the first day, I'll look at if a earnings play came out on Monday, for example. I'll look at it on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and see how how the volatility kind of plays out throughout the week. So that looks really interesting. But someone is saying Intel in the chat. I was just flipping through some tickers because I was trying to get some ideas, because the trading ideas that I had today, I'm not going to lie, guys, they have been a bust today. And so I was looking at Intel. Someone was saying 25.50, if that could possibly come into play. And I really want to see a break of this, maybe around this level, around $26. I want to see a break of that, maybe around $25.90, see what we do from there. We do have these wicks here from the morning, 26.15, had a wick there, 26.40, and then again, some rejection there around 26.42. And so we are kind of still in this like uptrend since the morning a little bit here. And so I just want to make sure that, I don't get faked out there if there's a possible bounce there. But I do think that more confirmation is the break of that $26 level. And so I really want to see what it does there. I hopped out of my DJT trade that I was in. I didn't really like how it was reacting there. I really wanted to see the bounce off of the 9 EMA, which I'm not really seeing. I mean, on the 15-minute, it's still coming down there to around 30.13. But typically, I like to look on the 9 EMA on the 3-minute. And so what I was seeing on the 3-minute wasn't looking good. Looks like a little bit of, change in structure for me. I feel like it is a little bit too early. Maybe I shouldn't have bounced out too early, just because I feel like I'm not wrong until, the break of this wick around 29.50. But I just don't like the range that this is kind of in. And so I just kind of hopped out there. So I don't really like the look of that. And then someone is saying Piton. Let's take a look at that. because maybe your calls are going to be a lot better than what I'm looking at right now. Okay, Piton looks pretty decent as well. I like the fact that we had this break of the pre-market high, holding above VWAP up until it didn't break VWAP at all actually, but we just had a little bit of a retracement from 1036, came to VWAP. Couldn't break it at all. Just notice it gets there, it bounces up, gets there again, bounces up, and then we're having this strong kind of trend to the upside here. What's significant to me is like this pullback here. And so I think that it's just going to be a little bit of a pullback before like the continuation. So I really want to see what it does around this level, around this 80.56, 850 level. I think that's very significant just because it's kind of like a $0.50 level. And so that looks really good as well. I think that if it could hold that 850, then that looks really good for the continuation of the long. So shout out to you for that. I'm sorry I can't pronounce that name, but shout out to you for bringing that to my attention. And then Kenneth Molina is saying IWM. So let's take a look at that as well. Oh wow, okay, this is moving a lot better than the stuff that I've been looking at. This is interesting. I'm gonna go on the higher time frame here. I do like the fact that it rejected at 10:30. Usually I find around that 10:30 time is usually when there's like a new trade setup. So we can see that this was off the open was one trade setup to the long side, and then it looks like we're kind of reverting there to the downside a little bit. And so yeah, this looks really good for a short, to be honest. Me personally, I'd be looking at the break of this level around 236.17, 236.15. I think 236.15 gives us a little bit more confluence there. And I want to see what it does at this level. I want to see if it bounces off that level or if it breaks below that level, and it looks pretty good as well. I think that you're not necessarily wrong in this trade until it gets to around these highs. I mean, I feel like there's two kind of risk levels that you can give it. You can give it a little bit above VWAP, so you can kind of give it to like this action here, or you can give it to the day's high, which is giving it, sorry for this like wonky kind of line there, or arrow, but I think, yeah, giving it to like above VWAP there or giving it to the day's high isn't too crazy there, but I do want to see what it does at this level, whether we bounce out that level, because it did bounce at 10 a.m. And so I want to make sure that we're not seeing that same kind of action, or if we can break through there and go to the downside. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, I'm kind of just watching this action here on Tesla. We did kind of pull back a little bit here, but holding a bit of a base here on 216s, trading at 316s. Trading at 317s and some change as of right now. Pretty much consolidating again above VWAP, underneath that high a day, just shy of that 320 mark there on Tesla. So again, just like I said, today's a day where I'm just like kind of like sitting back, just kind of coasting, observing price action, nothing too crazy. Again, I mentioned earlier we were out a little bit late with the floor and part of the campus program last night, and yeah, you gotta be a little wary with your risk coming in. If you feel like you were compromised, and some of the decisions I was making in the morning, definitely a little feeling of being compromised. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm not at my 100%, so why should I be putting on 100% of my risk as well? So just kind of observing this Tesla move, it is the star of the day today with the kind of action that it's had. Definitely pushing multiples of ATR here. Again, I was looking at the Tesla's ATR. Let's pull it up once again so we can take a look together and see how many ATRs Tesla is up as of right now. So Tesla's ATR here I have as 13.59. So 13.59. Let's see off of the open, let's see from the low to the high, how much it has actually moved. So let me pull this chart in so we can take a look at it together. Right here, so from the low right there, so that's that low at that 290, what is that? That 297.66 right here, 930 candle. I am using a 3-minute candle here. We've moved about 21.59 points. So we've done over 100% of ATR on the day today. And we've also extended off of VWAP pretty aggressively as well. the bid has started to dissipate a little bit, but we're trading sideways, consolidating in between. Pretty much, it looks like a bit of a price compression here. If you take a look, if I can just draw these right here, so a little bit of resistance there and some support as well coming in as of right now. So flagging action, yes, it does look like a flag, but I kind of said this yesterday as well. What does that mean? Does it mean it's bullish? Does it mean it's bearish? I have no idea. And again, shout out to Mark Douglas, who basically, again, I get this from him, is like, yeah, patterns, chart patterns definitely repeat in the market. They repeat, they rhyme. You can see flags, you can see flat bottoms and flat tops all the time, but what does it actually mean? The outcome is always random, right? So it doesn't necessarily mean one thing or another. I think there's almost always more information required. Like, how has the story built up on the day? What's the story of the price action looking like? Where are other players? Again, relative to the price action, what have we been doing? And then maybe looking for confirmation on the tape to give you some direction for the result of said chart pattern. So again, just an indicator at the end of the day. Price action is king, and I guess the flow will definitely give you a bit of direction as well on off of the tape. Again, we look at I guess the aggression, the speed and aggression. Shout out to Wayne for coining that term here on the floor. The speed and aggression of the tape can be very telling when it shifts to being distinctly different than it was moments ago or earlier, right? So an example of that would be, now I wasn't watching the tape here on IONQ, but if you were watching IONQ off of the open, the tape definitely looks distinctly different on this run up than it did on this run down as well. So if you can see, if you can observe that shift in momentum, if you can observe that shift in how the tape is moving, maybe you can use that as a bit of an edge to kind of read where you may or may not want to get involved and how you may or may not want to get involved on some of these names here. So bit of a tape reading thing there. What's going on with you?
Yeah, for sure. I was looking at Nvidia just to see if, you know, it was getting near my order level. And so it wicked off of VWAP, which is like kind of the bus stop level that I was really looking at there. And I wanted to see the break of that VWAP level. And so it wicked from there and came down. And so I'm kind of glad that I put my order a little bit above VWAP around, I think I put it around 08s and then, 06s and 010s. And so it didn't get there. It got to 147.96, and then it wicked from there. If I do see it a second time and it is able to get above VWAP, then I would be, you know, more convicted in that trade. But as of right now, like, I feel like, you know, trying to get in here is a little bit, you know, a little bit risky. I mean, it still never broke this day's low yet, but I think that that confirmation is really what we want to see, that 140, that break of that 148 level. And just for a little bit more confirmation that 06s, 010s, or even 15s to really get that real push above VWAP, just so it doesn't, you know, liquidity grab that VWAP level again and then come back down. And so I'm watching you, Nvidia, but we just want to, you know, I want to be cautious with this one because we did have significant moves over the last, you know, 2 days, and I feel like it is losing a little bit more steam, and it is Friday, so I feel like that is something that we should take into account as well. I find that, you know, sometimes the market doesn't really do too much on a Friday. I find a lot of people, you know, are starting to take profits off, maybe for the weekend. They want to spend that moolah. And so I think about it psychologically like that. And so I'm not, you know, expecting too much from Nvidia until we really do break above that level, or maybe even below this day's low. But as of right now, Nvidia, I'm sorry, lady, you are not doing it for me today. But Gaurav, I believe, was in the chat, and he was talking about Hood as well. And so typically this is a nice play for me as well. I feel like I did miss the move, to be honest. The real money trade was off of this level, the previous day's high, around $30. I'm pretty sure that he called that out as well. And then it's also at VWAP, which is really good as well. I mean, it is part of my playbook as well to get in at the day's high, the break of that day's high. So, I mean, I feel like that is possible. So I want to take a look at that. I'm going to post an alert here around, I'm gonna do like 30, 40s and see if we can hold there. So I'm just gonna put that in there. Not necessarily throwing out my order yet, but I do wanna see some action happening there. So that looks really good. Missed that opportunity there, which I feel like I kind of have to live with that. Chasing the move really isn't the move, it's not the vibe. And so I don't really wanna do that, but I do think that it's something that you should watch, and it's very interesting at this level. And I like the fact for this trade, I like the fact that it did wick off of that high around 30, 40, came back down, didn't break VWAP, and then we're testing that level again. And so with my bus stop levels, like that's what I'm really looking at. I'm looking for kind of like the second retest of that high. And so that gives me more confirmation in that trade. Couldn't follow through, couldn't break through that VWAP, and then we're just bouncing off of that level. So I think that gives me more confirmation for this trade rather than it have just like breaking up and then continuing from that high. But I think that second attempt is really what gives me more confirmation for the continuation of this long. So that really looks good as well. And then someone's saying, Louise, he is saying DJT 3150. Let's take a look at that DJT. Yeah, that is, see, why does this happen to me? So yeah, I was waiting for this kind of move, to be honest. I punched out because I saw a little bit of this action, and this is the move that I was looking at. Punched out a little bit too prematurely. I feel like because, I messed up a little bit in the morning, I kind of messed up my risk there, but this was the move that I was looking at, and it's breaking through that high of day, looking really good on DJT. I feel like if I had to sit back and really reevaluate my trade for this one, I really should have given it the proper risk, which was this wick low. And so I got a little bit finicky there, just watching P&L a little bit too much there, but this was really the true risk level that I should have given it. And so, if you're in that trade, you're printing up a storm as of right now, so shout out to you guys. DJT is, moving, so shout out to that. And then Boeing, we passed it off to Adara before we could kind of talk about our Boeing trade. But this was very interesting.
Adara has news right
Oh, she has news. We're going to Adara.
I actually have news on Boeing, but interestingly enough, this didn't come out until after that pop. So we had this pop here around 12 p.m. There was the question of what caused this pop. Then around 12:10, we get this article here from Bloomberg saying that Boeing is exploring the possible $6 billion sale here for its Jeppesen unit. We know Boeing's been talking about selling units. That was reported a few weeks ago. They said they're actually working with an advisor here on a potential sale to help trim their debt. And apparently, the provider of this interactive flight plans is attracting buyer interest. So Jeppesen unit attracting some buyer interest. Boeing's looking to sell it for $6 billion. This news, though, again, interestingly enough, coming after that volume spike to the upside, guys.
Adara. Yeah, I see this distinct top here, which I don't really like. I mean, this is the action that we and we're breaking through that top. Okay, that is very interesting. I spoke a little bit too soon there. And so, it's getting above that high. I really want to see it hold above that level around this 152.10 level. And so that looks pretty decent as well. I feel like the proper risk for this one would be around these wick lows, around 150.91 or even 151.13. But I think that, unless we get below like 150.22, just below this VWAP here, I don't think that you're wrong, to be honest. I feel like that is the true risk that you kind of have to give it. You can, give it to these levels, but I think that it may consolidate a little bit, get all these people out before it continues to the upside, but you're not truly wrong. So maybe even a dip buy rather than getting in here. I mean, maybe you can get in here holding above, 152. Or you could wait for that dip buy around VWAP, but this looks very interesting as well. How about you, Dobie?
Yeah, no. Again, like I said, I'm not really doing too much else other than kind of staring down this Tesla here as of right now. As it kind of builds, it's winding up right here underneath that 320. We've had kind of there's buying at 312s, I think 312s. There's some strong buying, and then 314s, and then stepping up to 316. So maybe is that a buyer that's stepping up above VWAP? The 312 hold was a little distinct. The 315, the 316 hold as well, a little bit distinct as well as we kind of creep up into that day high as of right now. But yeah, no, I got a kind of a trade idea, I guess, going on as of right now. The execution's absolutely horrendous, but let's see if it can get through day high, or do we come back into VWAP, or does that buyer kind of step up even more? I have no idea what the ticker is going to do here, but something I am observing here is that the ES is kind of catching a little bit of a sell here. We've been starting to slow down maybe potentially. So let's see if that buying kind of picks right back up. I have no idea. 21,200 here holding as of right now on the NASDAQ as well. What's up, Badera?
Do have here the IWM. Sorry about that, Neil. We have the IWM here. This one's still to the upside, but still chopping and turning. Not too much of a different look from when we last saw it. There aren't a ton of huge small cap runners moving right now, though there are a few we're going to get to. But we're actually going to start here with a runner that is decidedly not a small cap. That is Axon Enterprise. This one has a $43 billion market cap here, AXON. This is up 21% or $100 from open to now. They did have earnings last night, or this morning, beating your earnings per share and sales estimates. They also had a higher than expected Q4 revenue guidance. So AXON, not a small cap, but a big runner today. Next, we do have a small cap. It's FOXO. This one actually is a pretty small market cap and float for a penny stock. We have about a $12 million market cap, 10 million share float for FOXO. And then last but not least, API. This ticker, much like FOXO, no news catalyst, but this one is called, I saw a couple different names, Agora or Appia. So API, this is actually, interestingly enough, a Chinese ADR. We have a lot of these ADRs moving to the downside, but this ADR, the small cap with a $450 million market cap, pushing to the upside, guys. Back to you.
All right, thank you. Some interesting action on some of those tickers there. Yeah, I think Axon, Darwin saying Axon makes body cameras, mostly police and some teachers. Interesting. I didn't know that teachers wear body cameras as well. I guess it depends on maybe where you're teaching. I have no idea. But Axon looking interesting with that strength. $570 ticker. Oh boy, what's the cap on this one again? 43 billion on that one there. Again, earnings day one once again on this. I guess did they have a double beat? We know we've had tickers moving decently on double beats here. Let's see. Yeah, they did have a bit of a double beat with that 520 hold. Aggressive kind of buying. Maybe not as aggressive, but like more like it just continues to buy. There's no real dip. So where is the dip? There is no dip with this. I was gonna say chip, but it's not really a chip ticker there. But there's no dip on that one there, and there's no real dip happening here on Tesla just yet as well. Maybe it won't even happen. Who knows? But that bid stepping up is definitely distinct. Again, days like today when things do kind of outlier moves and definitely do a little bit of relative volume. I have Tesla here doing almost 2x relative volume. So for a large cap ticker, that's definitely a little significant. I would say it's doing 2 times its relative volume. Now the relative volume I have is a 5-period relative volume. Now I know people use a 14-period as well, maybe a 50-period as well. But it is doing more relative volume than it has been over the past few days. Again, through that 300, finally pushing some fresh prices here that we haven't seen in quite a while. All-time highs, though, on Tesla still sitting at 414.5. So we still got a bit of a ways, about 100 points left to get to those all-time highs. Now, again, a lot of tickers pushing those all-time highs. We were talking about that. Bit of a slowdown on the ES. Slowdown it is not doing right now as it bids right back up towards day highs right there. Same thing with the NASDAQ. Held that 21,200 quite well and pushing back towards the highs. But again, the NASDAQ still trading within its opening range. Yes, not so much. That thing is trending to the upside.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, Obi. Keep calling you Sharif. I'm just so used to Sharif. But what I've been looking at is I was looking at the chat because you guys are giving me some great information. And so SoFi is really interesting as well. What I like about this is the fact that we are above VWAP, really like that for the long. But also, too, some other confirmation that I like to see is it looks like it's pulling back a little bit to this local high. So this was a high at 1030. We're looking like we're having a little bit of a pullback there. And what I really like about this level, too, is the fact that it's kind of like at this 9 EMA level. So it looks like it may retrace back a little bit and then, continue further for the continuation of the long. So if you're looking, to weasel your way in here, maybe a little bit of a dip buy around 1247, 1245. 20.5 may come into play. And so that looks really, really good on SoFi as well. And then if we look on the higher time frame as well, if we look on the 15-minute, like just look at that trend. I'm just going to take off that 9 EMA, just get rid of those. And so, yeah, and take off VWAP as well. And then just look at that. That trend is really, really strong here. And so I think a little bit of a pullback to this level. I'm gonna let's make it purple. And so a little bit of a pullback to there. I think that could come in play for sure. And then hopefully, as long as we still stay above this trend line here, I think that the continuation of the long looks really good as well. And then GME, someone said that in the chat as well. And so when I was looking at it, it was up here, and I was going to say, waiting for that dip buy around that 9 EMA, I was seeing a gap there. And so I like the look of that. It looks like it did, it's wicking 24.55, and so it did wick a little bit there. The candle did not close yet, so we want to see what it does from here where it closes. If it closes below this candle, so this previous candle here, 24.05, if it closes below there, I would be a little bit worried because, maybe we might see a test of VWAP and then see what it does from there. But I think that looks pretty decent as well. I feel like getting in here is a little bit risky. I would wait for the retracement back to VWAP. That seems like a little bit of a better play there, just because notice how what it does when it gets to VWAP. Other than this kind of action here at 10 a.m. where it broke through VWAP, it kind of just goes to VWAP, bounces, gets to VWAP, goes up, bounces, and then it bounces off VWAP. And so, we'll see what it does from there. I think getting a dip buy around that VWAP level is a little bit better. I wouldn't necessarily post my order there. I want to see what it does from there. So say, for example, I see some action where it gets here. I'm not trying to get in on its way down here. I'm trying to catch it on its way up. So so say it bounces here, I'm trying to catch it as it's breaking through this kind of level. And so I kind of want to see the right side of the V kind of action, make that bounce off of that VWAP level, and then catching it on the right side of the V. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of GME. That looks pretty decent as well, but I just want a little bit more confirmation. Again, it is Friday, and so it doesn't give me, the best conviction on Fridays. And so I'd just be a little bit wary about that. And then someone in the chat shouted out IONQ. And so this is a little bit more of my playbook, to be honest. I think that this is actually a good setup for me personally. I want to see a little bit more volume here because we are consolidating at this level. If we look at on the 15-minute, it isn't as distinct, but I do want to see a break of this level here. Let's just make this, let's make it orange because I feel like you could see a little bit better. And so I want to see the break of this level around 24, just because this was a level off the open at 9:30 where it got to that level. It wicked a little bit, but there was a continuation there. And so I want to see it get above that level again, and then breaking through that little bit of that consolidation there. And so that's what I want to see. What I do like for this trade, though, and it is actually something that I kind of covered in our 9 EMA lesson, is when I'm looking for those longs, I like the cross of VWAP and the 9 EMA. So as these start to cross, I want to see that 9 EMA kind of holding, kind of like a glove, just kind of holding that level. And so I like the fact that it wicked off of that 9 EMA on the 5, but I do want to see the break of that 24 level, but that looks really good. Shout out to you for bringing this to my attention, because playbook, this is my setup, right at VWAP, very close to VWAP, but I want to see that confirmation there. So shout out to you for that. That looks really great. Send your tickers in the chat. If you have any tickers that are close to VWAP, breaking the high of day, breaking the low of day, I am really interested in those plays. So send them over, guys. I really want to see that, and then I'll send it over to Obi.
Yeah, so you guys pointed out Costco in that in the chat there, so I pulled it up. Costco is super strong today, touching 950.71 day high as of right now. We opened at 912, so this thing is up almost 40 points on the day. Bit of a continuation from yesterday as well. We can see that strength coming in from yesterday. It's been kind of trending to the upside since I guess since this dividend day right here on November 1st, right there. So a bit of a trend up, and then look at that acceleration, man. We got some relative volume as well on Wednesday. I don't know if this thing had a catalyst, but definitely some relative volume yesterday as well as it consolidates sideways. So leg consolidation, an extended, even a more extended leg coming in today for that test of that 950. I wonder if this one is going to get to that 1,000 mark. Now, I'm pretty sure these are all-time highs here on Costco. Yes, they definitely are. So Costco, nice little run up here. Oh boy, this is definitely an example of stonks only go up. This is a perfect example of stonks only go up. Yeah, Costco, solid company as well, right? You gotta love the. I guess they do a little bit of wholesale as well, but I think they have good deals on a lot of food. I like going to Costco every now and then. Do you ever go? You ever go to Costco?
I don't have a Costco membership. I'm loyal to No Frills, but it looks good. But I don't have one personally, to be honest. But I do want to get one because I want to save some money. I want to get those deals.
Ramin is saying you will definitely eventually get one.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ramin, you want to give me,
Especially when you have a car, apparently.
Oh yes, that makes it so much easier. You just load up, and you don't got to go back. So I might invest in that. That sounds like a really good idea.
For the gas. Oh, Ramin is saying for gas. Okay, so I guess Ramin fills up at Costco. I don't know. The Costco members get it's significantly cheaper apparently. What's the highest they get to? Can I get that 91, 94? No, in terms of octane. They get 90. They do 91. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Nice. Okay, she gets 91, 179 is the maximum she got. Yeah, exactly. She's like, I don't settle for anything less than that 91. I'm like, all right, I like that. I like that. Ramin's saying I would put water if I could.
Oh my gosh.
Oh boy. Yeah, no.
Car's gonna break down.
Yeah, it's funny. Have you ever had a buddy who he used to drive a diesel and then he got a new car, which was a gas car, and then he went to the gas station. He filled it up with diesel instead, and oh boy, that was a bit of a predicament there.
Yikes!
It's a good thing he did not start the vehicle, and it just had to be towed from the gas station.
Oh
itself
no!
To empty the tank there. But yeah, no. Okay, so we got a super chat here. CELU, please, from Rohit Sharma. So let's take a quick look at CELU here. What is CELU up to? Are you doing any volume is the first question. Definitely you are. 4.5 million shares traded on the day. Relative, I guess it's 2 times relative volume right there. You can see that RVol right there, 2.7, almost 3 at certain times. It's pushing to the upside. I guess they had earnings today as well. I can't really see the results here. Oh boy, what is that? Okay, so they just got volume yesterday. So yeah, I guess this thing's been moving around a little bit over the past couple of days here. CLU yesterday, absolutely crazy. Look at that little bit of a squeeze action there off of the opening high. Breakout goes to 522s and aggressive sell off. So maybe a little bit of a blow off top happening underneath that $5 mark. A little bit of sideways consolidation relative to what we did yesterday, it would seem. A bit of a trickle on the upside on this one. I see you, Smooth 1J, talking about VST. Let's take a quick look at VST. Wow, look at the opening drive on that one. That's crazy. 136s to 144.71. Excuse me, day high in the first 15 minutes. That's absolutely crazy there. Day 2 earnings as well. Oh boy, I really like this. Oh my God. So let's talk about this kind of price action right now, because this is absolutely beautiful. So day 1, you can look at this and be like, all right, we ranged, we made some highs, we made some lows, we traded within that range for the rest of the day. Coming into day 2, we were talking earlier about day 1 versus day 2 trades, right? Coming into day 2, look at what we do with prior day's high. That's so interesting. We attempt to break out off of a strong drive right off of the open. First 5-minute candle, second 5-minute candle, third 5-minute candle. Look at the candles are also kind of diminishing in size, as well as that selling pressure starts to overwhelm the buyers there off of the open, and basically lick grabs prior day high, and then you come in for a beautiful reversion all the way back down, 100% reversion on the day on VST. coming all the way, dropping down to 136. That's pretty nice there. Definitely part of my playbook there. But the thing is, I don't have eyes on everything, right? If I was a bit of an algo scouring the markets for anything and everything I like with respect to price action, maybe we can start taking fills on some of these trades. But a day two earnings lick grab of prior day one, that's definitely beautiful here on VST. If you had the opening drive, if you had the reversion, that was solid. We're just consolidating with a little bit of a base on top of 136, and it's creeping up into VWAP right here, right there. You know what? You look at charts so often, you kind of figure where the VWAP may be lying right there. Look at that creep up into VWAP as of right now, holding as Rizzy Stallings right now at 139.95 on VST. Adam DeLuz saying, "He'll be still a vampire and loves the shorts sucking out the blood." Yeah, I know. You know what's funny? My favorite color is also red, so I don't know. There may or may not be a bit of a bias there. No, I'm joking. You gotta be able to go both ways. That's for sure. Trading with the trend is again something I definitely need to get a little bit better at. But journey never ends. Journey never stops. We can always get better at this game. Nowhere near where we want to be here right now. IONQ, bit of a bid back up after a consolidation hold of this VWAP. So interesting. NQ as well, attempting to push its highs, its session highs as well. And then the ES still staying strong on that one. Let's take a quick look at some of these Mag 7 names as of right now. Tesla, obviously, we're watching. Very strong on the day. Softy to the downside. Apple, bit of a sideways consolidation there. Alphabet. You know what? I'll just pull in this chart. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I can pull that in. That's fine. Right here. Boom. So this is what I'm looking at here. Bitcoin obviously on watch as well. Here's the spider still climbing to the upside as of right now. Softy to the downside. Apple, Alphabet, and Amazon pretty much sideways there. We had an aggressive push through that 200 yesterday. That was absolutely wild. And then we're getting a bit of a pullback here on Amazon, consolidating on top in and around of that 208, 209, 210 kind of area where we broke out from yesterday. You can see that pre-market highs yesterday was in and around that 208 mark. We pull back in and we're holding where some of that buying pressure kind of broke out off of yesterday on Amazon. So interesting action nonetheless. Can I do anything with it? I don't know. I'm looking for the next trade, and nothing's really kind of setting up as of right now. But again, continuing to look for opportunities. DXYZ, what are you up to? DXYZ, I guess, pushing for its high of day as well. I know a lot of people are definitely trading this one today. Again, it's kind of the basket of election-related tickers there. DXYZ and Tesla definitely being one of the bigger ones of that bunch. I also want to take a quick look at what oil futures are up to right now. Okay, so bit of a sell-off today, continuation from that selling that we were having in the overnight session there. So interesting stuff happening there. Let's take a quick look at XOM and USO as well. So a little bit of sideways chop on XOM. And let's see what USO. USO should look more similar to that crude oil chart right there. Okay, so yeah, more selling off with a base at 72.80 as of right now. So nothing too crazy happening there. What's up, Adara?
This part of the show is brought to you by Trade the Pool. Trade the Pool allows traders like you to get evaluated and trade real shares using the company's capital with no PDT rule holding you back. That's a real edge in trading. Here's the exciting part. Trade the Pool has just launched a limited edition program for stock traders. For a one-time fee of just $97, you'll receive $20,000 in buying power. All you need to do is reach the profit goal. The best part, this limited edition program now has a reduced profit goal and fewer minimum trades required to reach the funded phase. Plus, the profit split is upgraded. Keep 70% of the profits. Don't miss the chance to explore this limited offer.
Thank you so much for that, Adara. So Zai NG in the chat, he is talking about Tesla. Can you look at a Tesla short? And so, you know, Reversion Man, he would have been, you know, the best person to ask. But I mean, for me personally, I don't like shorts unless they're below VWAP. I find that it just gives me a little bit more confirmation. I kind of have a better risk level to kind of risk off of. And so, if I was looking for the short personally, I would be waiting for, a break of around this 310 level, a little bit below VWAP. But just to give me a little bit more confirmation, maybe around 309.80s, just because I want to see the break of that VWAP. I feel like taking attempts here, just for me personally, is a little bit, I don't know. I feel like I don't have the exact read on it when it comes to those reversions unless it gets below VWAP. And so that's just my playbook. Personally, I mean, maybe Obi has a different kind of look on why he decided to take that short, around here. But for me personally, I'm looking for that VWAP break. So I don't think necessarily for me personally, it's going to get in for today for the short. But if I do see a short opportunity, I want to see that below VWAP. So that is what I'm looking at in terms of that. And then I wanted to go over to coin because Adam Deluge, shout out to Adam, he brought coin to my attention. And so he said that, it's not part of his playbook, which I totally understand. And so you can see an opportunity that is a good setup, but it may just, not be for you. And so that is totally fair there. But he did shout this out in the chat. And so this is what I really like. And so my playbook is when I start to see this cross of VWAP and this 9 EMA, I really like this type of action. And so I like the fact that when this candle happened, so when this candle came up, we're seeing the candles close above this candle here. So we're seeing closes above 267.60, and I really like the look of this. And so, yeah, this is definitely a really good long play as well. Getting in here, I think, is very, very a good level to get in at. And so I do like, close to VWAP. Again, I don't necessarily get it right at VWAP because it doesn't give me enough confirmation. But as it starts to bounce off of VWAP, I say, okay, this looks really good. I'm starting to see rejections off of VWAP, which is, my bus stop level. If it rejected off of that VWAP and I was seeing candles close below VWAP, then I would say, okay, I think that this is going to be the continuation of the short. But as it starts to break through VWAP, I start to see that 9 EMA cross that VWAP level. I'm saying, ooh, I get my hands together and I say, this looks good. And so this looks really good for the long. So shout out to Adam. He has been, giving me some great ideas. And so shout out to him. He is a great, amazing trader. So we have Gaurav in the chat. He is saying hood consolidating at the highs might be about to break out on the weekly. There's nothing in sight until 34. So let's take a look at hood. Let's take a look at that. Whew. I'm glad I'm not coughing anymore, but damn, I do get winded when I start speaking. But anyways, so this looks really good as well. Let's look on that weekly that you're talking about here. Oh, wow. Look at that strong, look at that strong candle. That is crazy. Let's see. Let's go on like higher time frame. Yeah. My bus stop level, to be honest, is around like this local high here, around 43.32. That would be like, this is more of a swing trade for me. I think if you're a swing trader, getting in as of right now on that hood looks really good and decent as well. I don't necessarily have a bus stop level for the day, to be honest. Let's look back here. Yeah, nothing really too in sight. I would say that when I don't really have a bus stop level in sight, I kind of just look at the local even dollars. So 30.50 is a target that I'm looking at, 31s, 32s, and I want to see what it does at those levels if I'm starting to see rejection or support. But I think on a higher time frame, regardless of day trading, this looks really good for the swing trade and also on the day trade as well. But me personally, I just don't know really kind of like where to take profits on this one. So I don't think I will enter it personally, but this looks like a really good play as well. And so shout out to Gaurav for bringing this to our attention. That looks really good as well. And then what else do we got here? We got SoFi. So SoFi is also something that I was looking at. I drew this trend line a little bit and I said, we might get to that trend line and then continue, the continuation of the long. And see, this is the level I was looking at. That local high bounced off of that level a little bit and then it's continuing to that upside. So that SoFi is still looking strong and looking great. I wish that I got in at, better levels, to be honest. The better levels that I would be looking at is, let me bring back my VWAP here. Getting in here, that would have been a nice play, or the break of the pre-market high. So around this $12.10 mark would have been really juicy, but I just didn't have my eyes on this one. But this looks really good still. I mean, even though I missed the play, I still think that this is still in play. And so just because I'm not in it doesn't mean that you can't, find your way in it. And so, obviously make sure that your risk is, accounted for, but this looks really good as well. If you were to get in here, I think that risking, 12.35, this kind of shelf here is a good play as well, or if you want to give it a little bit more room to this wick here, or a little bit below VWAP around 12.10. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, this is some good tickers there that are kind of moving around. ES is pushing fresh highs of the day as of right now. NASDAQ kind of pulling up as well. So continuing to watch kind of the same tickers here. Spider, obviously reflecting the ES, is pushing high a day as of right now as well. 598.35 is what we're trading at there on the S&P 500. So interesting stuff there. Tesla still continues to consolidate at its highs. Softy, though, making some fresh lows, looking distinctly different there. So
Thanks.
again, Softy, one of the top constituents for both the Nasdaq and the S&P there, trading pretty aggressively to the downside here, giving back a little bit of that strength that we got from yesterday's action there. So interesting stuff there on Softy. Again, we go back to Amazon. Amazon's not really doing too much, man. It's just still within that opening range. You can see we attempted to break a little bit below, only can get to 208s before reclaiming VWAP. A nice little consolidation as of right now. Markets are continuing to do a little bit of a bid up there. So something that is kind of catching, I guess it's a little bit more obvious that it's catching an actual bid, might be Google here. Google strong selling off of VWAP in the morning session there. You can see that 178.06 is the low, and that aggressive buying, kind of look at that. When that buying steps in, you break the trend as well. You start to push your way all the way up to VWAP. Sure, we didn't get all the way up to VWAP, but 179 is where in and around that area of where VWAP is sitting as of right now. And look at that price compression as well. So where will we go from here? I have no idea, but what the information on the chart is showing us is that we sold off the open. We attempted to break back above VWAP. This is a 3-minute chart. Look at this strong 3-minute candle here. We bid all the way back up into VWAP. 180 was an interesting level from yesterday as well. You can see that, and we reject that 180 for a further pullback in, extension off of VWAP, and then maybe a little bit of a turn here for a reversion to VWAP off of the break of trend. No real volume on that as really, but you can see the volume kind of dissipating as well as the selling pressure falls off, and then you catch a bit of a bid maybe with that selling pressure, I guess dropping, lifting, I guess if you want to call it that. Softy, some fresh lows at 422s as of right now. Apple's not really doing too much either, and Apple is just sideways.
Apple
Again,
never does
VWAP.
anything.
I think VWAP selling might be something to consider on a day like today, where you can see multiple things are just continuing to hold VWAP as resistance. And then when I say multiple things, I just mean the tickers that we just covered, a few of the constituents from the Mag 7.
Yeah, I like that look on Apple, to be honest. I like the fact that we are in this downtrend here. And so, yeah, so we have this downtrend here, which I like. We have this rejection off of VWAP. So this is like kind of my bus stop level. So let's just say you were going long, I would be taking profits here, and then as it starts to fail to break above VWAP, it didn't really close above VWAP. I'm not seeing a strong candle there. I would start to initiate those shorts here, and the fact that it comes down, it bids back up to VWAP, can't break that VWAP again, and so we're coming down, and so I really like the look of that as well. And so this looks like a good play for the short. Getting in here, I don't think that's a bad look as well. Getting in here, even the break of 226.75, I don't think that's a bad look either. I think that this is a little bit better just because you are closer to VWAP. You do have kind of the confirmation of these two rejection here's to risk off of. So if I was getting in here, for example, if you're punching that key as of right now, I would say that, risking above at around this wick here, around 227.60 is a good look, not giving it too much room, but enough where, it shouldn't get to that level. It's still part of the downtrend, but I think that that is kind of a good level to risk off of. And if you wanted to give it a little bit more room, maybe you can give it to this high, 228.15. But I think that's just a little bit, I don't know. But I would rather give it to here. And that looks pretty good as well, because the thing is, what we're seeing kind of like on a lower kind of time frame is that we just want to make sure that we saw these rejections from VWAP, and so that's what we want to see. We want to make sure that it's holding below VWAP. If it breaks VWAP, because that's what got us in, then if it breaks VWAP above, if it breaks above VWAP, then that's not what we want to see. We got in because it's below VWAP, it's rejecting off of VWAP, so we need to stay true as to why we got in. If that starts to change, then we have to say, hey, I'm wrong in this instance, maybe wait for another opportunity to get back in, or just leave the idea as a whole. So I think that's a great look on Apple. And then M. Mason is saying hymns. Let's take a look at that. Hymns, let's see here. My VWAP is loading. Okay, you guys are starting to get what my playbook is looking like. So shout out to you for bringing this to my attention. I like the look of this as well. I like the fact that the 9 EMA is crossing that VWAP level. For this type of trade, I want to make sure that it's not breaking this level 22.27. I would give it to around 22.19. That's just kind of the risk level that I would give it. Another risk level that you can do is also the day's low. I feel like that is a little bit more room that you can give it, just to make sure that you don't, get wicked out there. And so, yeah, that's only about, $1.20 away from, what the market price is as of right now. So I think that is good, proper risk management to give it rather than here. I just like to keep my risk tight, but I think that it's not a bad look either to even give it to this low. So that looks really good on HIMS. And then Rob EV is saying DJT setup followed by consolidation repeated again on the 5-minute chart. Thank you for that. Let's take a look what's going on there. Yeah, this is the move that I was looking for, the break of that day's high. I got out a little bit too early, unfortunately, but this looks really great for the continuation of the long. This looks really great. If I'm looking at, my bus stop levels, what are we looking at here? A little bit of a bus stop level that I'm looking at is around this consolidation from yesterday, so around this 37.72 mark. Not necessarily saying that, I think this is a reasonable spot to get to. A little bit further extended away, maybe we might not see this today, but my next bus stop level on DJT would be 48.13, and then again at this wick high around $55. I think that's a little bit overextended, but my 2 bus stop levels is around this consolidation here, 37.62, and then again 47.80. I think that is pretty reasonable. This one for today, this one maybe for a longer time frame. So that looks really good as well. SMR, this looks really good for the short for me personally as well. I like the fact that I call it kind of the 2 VWAP touch. So I find that when something touches VWAP twice in whatever direction, that's kind of the bias that I stick to. So we come up above VWAP here. We have a rejection at 10:30 off of that 25.83, rejection again at 11 a.m., very distinct there. And then we are coming on the way down here. I probably would have tried to, if I was looking at it, at the right time, I would have been getting in around here, maybe around here, just because I wanted to see that rejection off of VWAP. And then once I see that rejection off of VWAP, I'd probably be initiating the short around 23.10s, 23. And then what I like here, though, is the fact that we're below VWAP. We are kind of crossing this consolidation level where it bounced off, and then we're breaking through here. And this is like one of my big money plays, especially for the afternoon. I don't typically like to trade the afternoon too much, but when I do, when I start to see this playbook trade, then I really like this as well. Again, the confluence or the parameters that I kind of have for this trade, shout out to Obi, is being below VWAP, the 2 VWAP touch, so it came above. Yes, it was, you know, a long position here, but then as it broke this level above, below VWAP, then we start to see, you know, that bearish action there. So that looks really good for the short. And then my bust stop level would be around this wick low, around $20, or if we don't want to give it there, around $21, because that's kind of the next even dollar level. 22 is the next even dollar level. Yeah, 22 is like here, but I think that it could definitely get a little bit lower than that. So I would say 21 is, you know, a good level for me to start taking profits. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, I'm just reading the chat here. People were talking about Intel. I think who was it over here? I think somebody was like, oh, yeah, C Battles is talking about Intel, potential Intel short, maybe. I have no idea, but let's pull it up here. I know that they've been doing some interesting action on a larger time frame as well. We were consolidating underneath this 22 area, so I have this marked. A bit of a support and a resistance from earnings day one. Bit of a consolidation there. Earnings high was 24.85 there, and now we are trading well above that at 26.25. So nice little trend up post earnings. Now, if you take a look at this ticker as well, you can see. Okay, wow. See, I do have a little bit of I guess technicals on here. But again, I like my charts naked more than anything, without all of the mess. To kind of you know, it gets in the way. It gets in the way of the candles. Doesn't really give you a proper perspective of what the price action may or may not be doing there. So yeah, look at that range of break, and then we're starting to push past that. So let's see if we can hit those 27s in the coming weeks. Maybe we can get back to those 30s. Look at that Kwadung in August there from their double miss on their earnings. A very aggressive sell-off there. We sold off about 30-35% there on those on that earnings report. But this one not as volatile on this one. A little bit more muted relative to what happened in the past earnings there. But we're kind of creeping right back up, reverting the move. To say the least there, about a 50% reversion already happening as of right now. Those lows sitting at 18.5, that selling coming in from 30s. We're at 26, is only about 4 points away from that 30 mark as of right now here on Intel. So interesting stuff on Intel as well. Zion Lala is asking, are you looking for a Kwadunk on Tesla? Possible big drop. What's going on, Indira?
Let's just go here over our crypto segment because it's been a huge week here on Friday. I thought, why not wrap it up by looking at some of the huge moves in the biggest crypto names, Ethereum and BTC. We're going to start with BTC here on the weekly chart. That gorgeous kind of rounded bottom type pattern completed with this beautiful push up. Looks like we're at highs of week here or near week highs as we try to get into that 77,000 level. Now, a lot of this has to do with that presidential election. We know Donald Trump had called himself the crypto candidate, and Matt Haugen, who's the CIO of Bitwise, said that crypto was actually the winner of this election. We know that's true as well in past segments of this crypto update. We've talked, or earlier this week anyway, we've talked about how Trump was not the only pro-crypto candidate to be getting in. There's a lot of crypto-based political action committees, so there was a lot of interest in getting some crypto candidates into office. It looks like that was fairly successful, and actually with this in mind, Matt Haugen, again, the Bitwise CIO, says he expects Bitcoin to approach 100,000 by the end of this year, 200,000 by 2025, and then thinking that other crypto assets could even do better due to the lack of regulatory risks, or at least perceived lack of regulatory risks under this new administration. Here's the Ethereum weekly chart. Definitely not as strong as Bitcoin, with Bitcoin being at highs and Ethereum a bit removed from highs. But this weekly candle pushing into 3,000, taking out a lot of this previous chop, is a great look. We are, though, running into previous support at 3,000 that we saw in early July and then again in mid-May. So key level potentially for ETH. Bitcoin looking great, guys.
All right, thank you, Adara. Marcus, oh boy, all right. So aggressive buying there on Tesla coming in, some strong volume coming in on that push there. I did get stopped out of my trade when that volume, again, that was an aggressive pop here. I kind of looked at, I was watching the 30-second chart here, but I do want to go down to a lower 1 second, see how fast that actually was. Actually, you know what, it kind of grinded up but the volume is coming in quite aggressively. So watch out for that high a day incoming
Yikes.
potentially.
Ooh.
There it goes. There's the
Yeah,
high a day getting
that's
cracked
moving.
right there.
Yeah.
Oh boy, all right. So, I mean, it's a good thing I stopped out on that
Yeah.
action there that was coming out. So we're getting aggressive into that 320 mark. So let's see if we can break past that 320 as of right now. Let me put on the size filter for you guys so we can look at that together here. Pull up that book as well. Chart not as important in this situation, in my opinion. We got to watch this book to see what these 320s have in store for us right now. So let's see if we grab the day highs. I don't think so. I think we're going to continue potentially pushing higher there. But we saw that aggressive bid come in, and there you go, about 4,000 lots right there on that that 320 mark. 320 coming in hot with that aggressive bid as of right now. So let's see if we blast through that level, and if we do, is it going to be the same as that 300? Do we just rip up 2 points off of that? As of right now, look at that. Does the ask decrement? There it is, 40, 50 pennies instantly, and then taking a little bit of a pullback. So not as aggressive right away as that 300 break, but Sean's saying he is in it right there on the 320 break. He's in at 25s. Absolutely beautiful. We're coming in for that 321. A little bit of size there. Can we take him out? Of course we can. We took him out right there. 2104 is printing for a second there with an aggressive pullback back down into the 2050s as of right now. So yeah, that's a good thing. That's I guess the good thing it stopped out. Didn't want to take a rip past the day highs. Again, real risk on this trade that I had was past day highs, but I was just kind of trailing it to some of these lower highs that were being made in the sideways consolidation as price did a bit of compression there. But yeah, no, somebody in the chat was like, yeah, you got to watch out for those higher lows building up into the high a day. Yeah, for sure. I am definitely watching that build up there, but I'm also looking at that price compression there and that overextension as well. But definitely got to respect that action. Yeah, I have no idea what the price is going to do. I just have a little bit of a trade idea, and I'm going to put some risk on that. I do have to get a little bit better at being more precise with some of that. But like I said today, I'm not really putting on too much or getting too aggressive there. But some of these ads definitely a little aggressive for the push. I got to be selling most of my inventory at that 318 for a push. For a pullback down in towards VWAP or maybe a break of some of these consolidation lows. But oh boy, are we heading to the upside as of right now, 321.03s, 321.24. So let's go. Sean is over a point in the money right now, more than $1 in the money. Let's go. 321's coming in. Let's see if we get that 325 level. Yes, that is the hot dog cannon. Let's go. Congrats, Sean, on that trade. 320 breakout off of that size. Nice trade, Sean.
That's awesome.
Nice. He's definitely eating over there. What do you got going on?
Yeah, so I just wanted to address in the chat, New York Urbanista. She was asking about my bus stop levels, and she was asking, is it a bus stop level an entry or an exit? And so when I'm in the trade, it's going to be a take profit level. But when I'm not in a trade, then it's a potential bounce, like a support or resistance level that I'm looking at. And so, yeah, it can be both. So an example that I would have is, let's just look at Hood, for example. So let's just say you are looking for the reversion. So let's just say you're in this trade right now, 30.28. My bus stop level for this trade, if I am going short, would be VWAP. That would be my first kind of bus stop level. Maybe I would take a little bit of profits from there and see what it does at that level. And then once it starts to break below VWAP, I would say, okay, this trend is not really holding strong. And so that's where I would be taking profits. Whereas, like, if I'm not in the trade, for example, and I'm looking at, potential bus stop levels, I'd be looking at that VWAP trade, and then if it that VWAP bounce or rejection, and then my next bus stop level would be the low of day for a potential, or just like where the stock may go, where the ticker may go. And so that's kind of what the bus stop level is. I'm kind of predicting where it may go. where there may be support or rejections, and so that's where I kind of tie in the bus stop levels. So VWAP is a key one, the high of day, the low of day, but that's just what it can change based off of if you're in the trade or not in the trade, and so that's really is the fundamental part of the bus stop levels. So I hope that answered your question there, and that was concise. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask any more questions in the chat. So shout out to you for that. So I appreciate the explanation. Thank you. I hope that gave you some answers there. So what else do we got here? Want to see what we're looking at. Renard is saying Pfizer. So let's look at Pfizer. Let's look at this here. Okay, so they had the ex-dividend day was today, sorry, in the pre-market. And yeah, we're seeing a little bit of a bounce here around 11.15, around 12.20, and it's bidding up to VWAP. So if you were in this trade, again, my bus stop level would be me taking profits here. But as I'm looking at this, I want to see what it does at this bus stop level. If we can break above that VWAP level, then I would be looking for the long. If we stay below this VWAP level, then I would look for the continuation of the short, because the action that I'm looking at is the fact that it can't get above this VWAP level, and so we should continue the trend to the downside. But I think that VWAP is definitely a very pivotal level in my playbook. I really like to, play my cards based off of what the price action is doing at that level. And so I find it just gives me a little bit of edge. Sometimes it doesn't always work, to be honest, but at least I know, at least it kind of gives me a bias, because when I first was on the floor, I would be taking crazy trades. I would be trying to like long here, or I would be trying to like short here, and things were just all over the place. And so I just wanted it to be concise, where I kind of know where I'm wrong. I don't take too many attempts, and that was the biggest factor, to be honest, so that I don't take too many attempts. VWAP, if it gets there, if it breaks VWAP, I'm out of the trade. If it stays below VWAP, then I'm gonna stay in the trade. And so that's how it kind of, came about. And so that is my look on Pfizer. I think that we need to stay below that VWAP in order for the continuation of the short to kind of still be in play here. But I would be a little bit worried once we kind of cross this $27 level. If it does cross that $27 level, then we might see, a potential reversal to the upside. So I'd just be a little bit mindful of that. And so that is something that I'm looking at. And then the Piper, I remember you said APP is 14 up in the last hour. Let's take a look at that.
Oh, that's an earnings day too, right?
Oh.
Yeah, that's earnings day 2 from yesterday.
Oh, that looks really nice as well. Yeah, I wish I was looking at this as well. My playbook for this would have been the break of that previous day high. That looked really great as well. The 2 shots I would have taken on this is the break of this pre-market high that happened around sometime in the morning, around 9:30. And so the break of that would have been really nice. And then if I missed that trade, I would have taken it above that previous day high. That would have been a good trade as well. In the money, you wouldn't have been out of the money at all, really. And then it held above VWAP. I really like the confirmation of that. And then, yeah, that looks really good as well. I mean, I feel like I did miss the move, to be honest. That is a little bit overextended for me personally, but if you're already in it, that looks really great as well. If I was trying to get in it as of right now, I would probably be waiting for the dip buy around this 9 EMA level. Whether I get it or not, I mean, that is a big question mark. But I would rather get in here for the continuation of the trend, just because I don't want to incur that drawdown if there is some. And so that's how I'd kind of weasel my way in there. Or another pullback level that I would be looking at is probably near this local high. So waiting for this pullback here. I want to see it hold above this level around 269.25, call it 270, just making things a little bit easier there. And so that's what I would be looking at in terms of APP. That looks really good as well. I like the fact that it's trailing the 9 EMA, but sometimes when I try to get in on the lower time frames, it just breaks. And so I think that waiting for that dip buy is a little bit better there. Bus stop level that I'm looking at on this, don't see any locally, so I like to kind of just zoom out on a higher time frame and see, and is this at all-time highs? Okay, this is at all-time highs. So this is not, I don't have a bust stop level for this as of right now, but usually when it's in this kind of action where there's no kind of other price action to kind of base off of, usually what I'll do is I'll just look at local even dollar levels. So I'm looking at 279, 280. But another thing that I like to do is I'll just go over to bar charts. And then they have the option strike prices. And so usually a lot of buying and selling happens at these strike prices. So if I just type in APP here, hey, that's the ticker, yeah, APP. And then I go down to options prices, get out of here, ad, please and thank you. So waiting for that to load, waiting for that to load. When that does load, come on, let's go. Come on, you could do it, you could do it. Okay, well, I don't know if it's going to load, to be honest, but when it does load, it will show you like a bunch of option strike prices. Okay, finally. And then so I would be looking at 280, what it does from this level, 285, 290, 295, 300, and see what it does at those levels, how it reacts at those levels. So again, if you missed the point that I made, if things are at all-time highs and there isn't previous bust stop levels to kind of go off of, I look at the option strike prices as potential support or resistance zones and see what it does from that level. So we are approaching that 280 level, which is the next strike price. So I really want to see it blast off from there. I want to see 10s, I want to see 15s, I want to see 20s. And then the next bust stop level, again, would be 285. And then I'd want to see what it does at that 285 level. If I'm seeing a strong wick at the 285 level, I would be a little bit worried. Yeah, just looking at those strike prices and seeing what the action is on there. And I would say looking at the option strike prices, it would be really good to look at the tape if you have a level 2. Or you have the time of sales, looking at the time of sales during that time in confluence with it reaching those prices, seeing how it reacts at those levels, I think is very important. Because a lot of the time with time of sales, I don't like to look at the time of sales like as I'm in the trade. I would like to look at it at key price levels and seeing how it reacts. So that's my look on that. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, I think price action is definitely something I consider strongly when taking trades as well. Sometimes I find myself not respecting it, and kind of sometimes the ego does get in the way there, and I'm like, oh, this can't be doing this. It's overextended. Prime example, Tesla. But you know what? If the pressure is there and the action is showing you you definitely have to respect that and stop out within your well within your risk limits. So you know what? Price action trading is definitely I definitely like it, and I respect the traders who definitely use price action to heavily weigh their trading styles there, as I kind of vibe with that as well. But yeah, no, Tesla breaking past that 320, absolutely aggressive bid that came in off of that hold of that 317. I was talking about those buyers potentially stepping up, and they did kind of step up there with that aggressive bid coming in with expanding volume as well through the high a day. So interesting stuff nonetheless. Continuing to push a little bit higher here. I am short a little bit on the 320s, looking for a pullback in, as that bid was it was distinctly different, right? It was distinctly different relative to what we've been doing since the morning there. Sure, we had some aggressive pushes through the dollar breaks and through some of those other key levels, but this bid just came in out of I guess not necessarily out of nowhere, but it definitely came in a distinct manner. I was watching the tape as well, and I'm like, oh, something's happening, and then I was like, all right, stop, and then aggressively pushes to the upside, breaking that high a day there. Prior highs sitting at that 319.42. So let's see what we do if we can break back below this 320. As of right now, do we get down to that 319 halves? If we do we continue to hold this little bit of a trend here that we have been since about, I guess we've been holding this decelerated trend I have here since 1140. A little bit more aggressive trend that showed up off of the bounce around 11 o'clock off of that 312 mark as well. So let's see what Tesla has in store for us today. I'm definitely not getting with the trend on this one today, and taking some cuts for sure. as of right now. But yeah, let's see. I'm looking for that pullback. I don't know if we'll get it. This ticker is hella strong on the day today. Again, today's day 3 elections, I guess?
Yeah.
Day 3 elections today. So yeah, some strong continuation, strong multi-day continuation that we've had on some of these tickers over this week, right? So just taking a quick look at some of these other names here. I do want to take a look at DXYZ. I know this one's been moving around as well in this basket here, so it is pretty much near high of day as well. So similar story as Tesla. Let's take a quick look at what DJT is up to. DJT also near high of days there, 33s as well on DXYZ is the high of day as of right now, and 321 coming back in on Tesla. What's up, Adara?
Just be aware here, ASML on watch. At around 12:51, it came out. Apparently, the company spokesperson saying that they faced an outage today, but they said it was an IT issue, which was resolved and the systems were recovered. This catalyst, though, now circulating here on Twitter. So this story, which came out about half an hour ago, now getting some circulation on Twitter. ASML with a outage that has apparently since been resolved, guys.
All right, ASML, nice.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. Someone in the chat was saying, is Nvidia short from here? And so, look, I mean, I would think that it is because it is part of my playbook to kind of short below VWAP. But what I don't like about it and what I want to bring attention to is the fact that look at these green candles on the 5-minute. I mean, they're not too strong, like it's not doing too much price action, but that is something that you want to be aware of. And so if I'm getting in for the short, I'm not necessarily trying to initiate the short here. What I'm really waiting for is the break below this level again. So what I possibly could see happening is if it's going to stay below VWAP, it's going to bounce off of VWAP, and then it should come to this level, and then that's when I would start initiating my short. But as of right now, it looks like, you know, if it can get above this level around 147.98, let's call it 148. If I see 148.10s, 148.15s, then I think the short is kind of out of play for me as of right now. But I want to see what it does at that level. I want to see a wick off of VWAP and then initiating my short around 147.17. Because if it is a short, then I'd rather get in on the breakdown here rather than guessing, possibly, you know, getting stopped out there, because if I got in here, my stop loss would be around here, and I think price action can reasonably get up there, to be honest. And then you could give it more room here, but I think later in the day, that is just way, way, way too overextended there. And so I want to see it stay below VWAP, possibly again, get to that VWAP, and then break down from there. So that's my look on Nvidia. And then someone is saying, I don't get the short on Tesla trending up / market green too strong for today. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't think that's like a bad look there, to be honest. I don't think that is a short as of right now. Again, like I was saying, when I'm looking for those shorts, I'm looking for the break below VWAP. And so if it could get there today, then I'd be like, yeah, Tesla's a short. But just it's staying strong above VWAP, I just don't like the look of that, to be honest. So I did have paper hands with this trade as well. I did go long when we popped on the show, but that would have been a really good look as well. I really like the break of that day's high. Usually that is part of my playbook as well. But I just did not get involved today, so that looks really good. What else do we got here? Cost. Let's take a look at cost. Costco. Yeah, this is still blasting high. 958.65, looking, you know, coming in hot, coming in strong. If I'm looking for those bus stop levels, let's take here. Did I look at a bus stop level for this? I don't think so. Oh, wow. This is at all-time highs as well. So this is looking crazy. I think for this, personally, I think it's just going to be a psychological level. Putting the strike prices aside, I'm looking at $1,000. I think that is, you know, the next level that I'm looking at. Are we going to get that today? I mean, I don't really trade like these bigger caps to know like if it really is going to get up there today. I don't necessarily think so. I don't know. I could be wrong. But I think in terms of the swing trade, that is very much in play. And so that's kind of the psychological level that I would be looking at on Costco. And then someone's saying DJT, the place to be. DJT. Let's see here. Oh, no. Why did I do that? DJT. Yeah, this looks pretty decent as well. We are retracing a little bit on the 5-minute here. I would say if you want to get involved, maybe waiting for a dip buy here around 30.77, call it 30.80. But that looks really good as well. And then if you kind of miss that, then my next level that I'd be waiting at is around this 30.15 level at that VWAP. Want to see a hold of that for the continuation of the long. So I think that is a good look. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, I'm just kind of watching this action here. Yeah, I definitely agree. Tesla does not look like a short, and I just keep taking stabs at the short, looking for a potential pullback right there. But it's not really coming. So yeah, no, I do have to. I mean, eventually I'll get to a point where I'm just like, yeah, these are enough tries at these points here. I was looking for this consolidation slowdown to kind of come in. But yeah, that 321 holding as of right now, trying to push that high a day, only about 10 pennies away as of right now. So yeah, here it goes, pushing for fresh highs of day right there. There it is, 321.70s, 322s incoming as well on that one there. So let's see if that one can potentially come in. Are you guys speaking to me? Because I don't think I can hear you guys just yet. But yeah, no, 321. Pulling back, so we did kind of push that high, and then aggressive selling coming right back in. So that's some interesting information. Let's see if that kind of continues going forward. Market still holding, pushing some fresh highs as well on that. Here comes that. I guess here's the thing. The tape is starting to get a little aggressive. If you guys can see right here, the speed of the tape kind of as that selling comes in definitely increased, but nothing too significant there. What's going on, Adara?
Let's take a look here at the DXY on the weekly chart, because that is, again, usually during the morning version of this segment, we look at the daily. So I'd take a different look during the weekly. On the DXY weekly chart, this is our 6th straight green week. And this is not even our greenest week, despite that massive pop we had on Wednesday, even though, of course, like we did have this larger green candle on the weekly chart going back to the end of September, beginning of October, which is when that DXY rally began in earnest. Now, what makes the DXY really interesting here, what makes this week interesting from an economic perspective, not only the election, but our second FOMC meeting of rate cuts. So this is the second meeting in the rate cut cycle. We did have Fed Chair Jerome Powell and the FOMC cutting by 25 basis points. It's a pretty interesting conference, basically mostly confirming what had already been said, but there's some emphasis right now, or some indications the Fed is a little bit worried about labor. It came up during that press conference, and it also came up here in the statement, which we do have modified as we have each FOMC meeting. So one of the statements apparently that was cut here was they're basically having some concerns with the greater confidence. Initially, the last statement, they said they had greater confidence that inflation was moving sustainably towards 2%. That sentence is gone. So this greater confidence apparently maybe not any longer. They also have basically said in support of its goals, instead of emphasizing support on the progress of inflation. So potentially the Fed is thinking there's less progress than they initially saw when we had that September meeting. So there's potentially some signs of a little bit of hawkishness coming through, but the general trend that we got there from Fed Chair Jerome Powell in that meeting was, it looks like they want to continue cutting. It's also worth noting, though, apparently when asked if he would step down, Fed Chair Jerome Powell said no. And they said, what if you're made to step down? And Fed Chair Jerome Powell said no. So it looks like he wants to stay in the FOMC meeting regardless of the results of that election, guys. Or not the FOMC meeting, the FOMC. Back to you.
Thank you, Adara. No, that was funny. I saw that happen live, and it was funny that the interviewer was a little lost for words as well. The person asking the question, she just got like a stern no. And then it was just like, okay, next trade, next question as well from Powell. So that was pretty funny. If you guys want to go back and watch that, I'm sure there's like clips as well. He was just like, yeah, no, I'm not gonna step down even if he asks for it. So you know what? That was we know how Powell rolls. You know, he remember that one time he was just like, oh, shut the front door. As well in that conference. That was pretty funny. And then this time he's just like, President who? I'm gonna continue doing my job. So it's pretty badass there in terms of Jay Powell, the reversion man. I guess reverting that question back pretty hard there yesterday. That was pretty funny. But no, that's some good entertainment during some I guess serious moments like FOMC for sure. Tesla is continuing to make fresh highs as of right now. 322s. I guess we did print some of that 322s. 322 flat is the high of day currently. Let's see if we can continue pushing that level as of right now. I don't have too much else on watch right now. I know that DXYZ continues to make fresh highs as well. DJT near its highs also. And here's 322s again on Tesla as it continues to push higher on the day. Qualcomm with a bit of a bid coming in as well. Nice little reversion happening there on Qualcomm on the day. So interesting stuff nonetheless. Those are the only tickers I'm really looking at for today. Let us know in the chat what other tickers you are looking at as well. Man of the people saying Dollar Tree DLTR. DLTR looking interesting. Let's see what Dollar Tree is saying about that. What's going on, Sean? $2. Yeah, because you got long. Nice. Yeah, I like that. So yeah, Dollar Tree with a bit of a flush there, coming in off of the open today, consolidating sideways, not really doing too much here on Dollar Tree, not really doing relative volume as well.
IONQ moving.
IONQ moving, says Satea. What do you got going on there?
Yes. So sorry to interrupt you there. Yeah, this is like a really good look. We were looking at it earlier before when it was kind of doing this consolidation action there, and I was saying, you know, this looks really good. So shout out to the person that I forgot what the name was, to be honest. I'm sorry, I have kind of a short-term memory, but this looks good. And so if you want to get involved, I'd say that getting in here isn't a bad look at all at the market price or even the break of this 2450. That looks like really strong as well. So INQ moving. So that is what I'm looking at. Sorry, I'll move it back onto you.
Yeah, no worries. Kind of just watching this 322 level here on Tesla. Going to continue watching it a little bit here. Market's really strong. You can see some fresh highs there on the NASDAQ. So we did kind of break out of that opening range high there on the NASDAQ, and ES also continues to make some fresh highs as of right now. So nothing else really on watch, but we got a bit of a read for you guys right now. So we can do that. So eSignal, trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to an elite trading experience. Analyze, strategize, capitalize, foresee profitable opportunities with the platform that you need. Infinite data, instant trading, know where the market is moving before others with lightning fast data. Better backtesting and scanning, predict the future by understanding the past. Reliable real-time data, up to the second market information from hundreds of global markets. Everything you need all in one place. Don't miss a beat. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading? Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. eSignal. So I know there's a few traders that definitely use that service and are pretty happy with it. So shout out to eSignal for that one there. 322.60s right now happening on Tesla. So this thing is raging to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw 325s today coming in. So that's that one right there. Aggressive push to the upside. I am going to just get out of that one right now. All right, cool. We are out of that one. So we got a super chat. Okay. Interesting. Charlie Taff saying that I'd rather put my money here than OF. Big props to the whole team today. Buy some liquid IVs on me. Nice, thank you. All right, here's some fresh highs there. 323 incoming on Tesla with, look at this market tailwind as well. Absolutely aggressive bid. Let's see who else is running on the day today, because we know we were talking about the Mag 7s being a little bit beat down on the day. So we can take a quick look at the Mag 7 here, or some of those names from said Mag 7, and see if they are taking a bit of a turn as well. We know Softy was really aggressively selling off. So yeah, there's a bit of a bid on Softy. We'll go down to the 3-minute chart. Bit of a bid on Softy there. Hasn't necessarily broken this trend just yet, in my opinion. But again, what do I know? All right, so Tesla, we're already watching. Google as well. Google catching a bit of a bid, but it's been kind of sideways. We talked about this kind of reversion happening earlier there. It couldn't quite get to VWAP, but that bid coming in off of a higher low there on Google, Amazon as well. Here comes 324 almost on Tesla. So this thing is ripping to the upside here. There's 324s printing, accelerating. So that was really aggressive. So something to note here, looking back at it, was that, again, I noticed distinctly different action here. We broke through the highs, and then we started to hold 320. And instead of maybe getting short on the 320 hold, maybe I should be looking to get long off of the information that the price action is showing me. I definitely have to do better in terms of that decision making. So we're pulling back off of that 324 as of right now. So what else do we got going on? Apple, right? Apple, we were talking about that VWAP being a little bit heavy. This bid brings us all the way right back up to VWAP. So let's see what we do going forward from here. Again, market tailwind is hella strong here, Satya. So absolutely crazy. What are you guys trading? Are you guys long? Hey, David's saying, Obi, jump on the Tesla train ride, brother. It's okay to make money. Yeah, thank you. We'll see. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. Trading with the trend, again, not my strongest suit, but that is something I definitely have to get better at. Every time the bid kind of slows down, I'm like, oh, maybe reversion. No, I'm joking. There's a lot more factors to it than that. But like I said today, I'm just taking a couple of shots there. Just feeling the waters, testing out some of that action, and that action definitely very, very strong there on Tesla. Definitely charged up over the past few days to push that 300 mark, and today we get way more than that. We get about 25, almost 25 points off of the open there on Tesla. Again, aggressive action on these markets as well. Bit of a hold on that on Apple, so that's interesting. Maybe that can continue to sell off there, but. Yeah, you guys are funny on in the chat there. Always a good time here. Whether it's the midday, whether it's the morning or the afternoon show, I'm always having a great time spending it with you guys, putting some trades on, maybe testing some ideas. But today, just relaxing, nothing too crazy. You know, like I said, we went out last night. It was a bit of a late night there. And I told myself this morning, I'm like, I'm not going to be putting on too aggressive of a risk. But clearly, I can see that my decision making is a little bit skewed since the morning session. Again, maybe missing that trade a little bit had me slightly tilted as well. And I'm just like, all right, well, if I'm not going to catch the long, maybe I should be looking for the reversion or the short to pull for a pullback. And I'm kind of anchored to that idea as well. So I'm kind of fighting that mental a little bit as well, so I got to do better at that. But we're continuing to trend up, and I am respecting some of that strength when it does come in and show me that it is going to continue to be aggressive there. There's that Apple pushing a little bit higher there. Hey, Davis asking about do you like SoFi at this point? Chill Vibe saying Tesla 400 next week. Yeah, probably. If it's going to continue this momentum, we can rip up into all-time highs. We were talking about those all-time highs being, what is it, 414 and some change there on Tesla. And we have a bigger picture. We've broken out of a strong, I guess, trend or resistance that we were having since those all-time highs as well. That happened a couple months ago or a few weeks ago, I think. And Tesla continuing to push up to the upside here. So we can take a look at SoFi. Like Hey Davis asks, so what is SoFi up to? SoFi, we saw this earlier. We ripped up. Look at that volume candle that pushes through that high a day. Absolutely beautiful there. Now we're just consolidating a little bit sideways. I know that was it Darius asking for UPS. So let's take a quick look at UPS here. On the day, 132 halves is the day low as of right now. Strong selling off of the open as well. So interesting stuff. Not really on my watch. Is it doing a little bit of relative volume? Yeah, it's been doing a little bit of relative volume. I guess since this volume candle showed up, we've been doing slightly above 1 times R vol here on UPS, but not really on my watch list today. Nothing too crazy going on this name. Scott Cap saying Costco. He called it in the morning. Costco continues to push higher and higher on the day today. So absolutely crazy. This one. Oh boy, we're headed for that 1,000 mark, Taya.
Jeez.
Absolutely crazy.
That is wild. I definitely think it can get there very, very soon. And then some people are cracking on my Nvidia in the chat. And I mean, granted, she's not doing too much today. Someone in the chat earlier was asking about the short coming in, whether where they should initiate that short, and so I am seeing that rejection off of VWAP, not necessarily. So it doesn't necessarily need to get to VWAP in order for me to start seeing, some rejection from VWAP. And so just the fact that it's still hanging below that VWAP level is something that I'm looking at as well. I still don't want to get involved in the short as of right now, because again, it's still kind of like in this uptrend action. But I do want to see this break here. I'm going to make this color, let's make it blue. And so I want to see a break below this blue level. That's kind of the point where I feel like we will see kind of more confirmation for the downside. So I wouldn't necessarily think that, it's going to break below the day's low and continue, lower like that. But I would take a little bit of a scalp there. So once it breaks around 147.10, let's say, or even 146.98, I feel like this is even a better level to kind of get in. I would take profits around 146.73 or even 146.50 just for that $0.50 level. So that's what I'm looking at in terms of Nvidia. Not doing anything too crazy as of right now, just kind of this choppy action there. And so yeah, I feel like this is like not even a trade day, to be honest, for my good girl Nvidia here. And so I don't know, I'm just gonna leave her on the side today because I'm not seeing what I want to see. And then UPS, I know Obi mentioned it before already. I'm looking for the break of around 132.44 for the continuation of the short. It does look like it's attempting to bounce a little bit at this day's low here. And so I would be a little bit cautious about that, to be honest. But once it does start to break below this day's low, and I see at least, 2 5-minute candles or 3 5-minute candles closing below this level, then I would be a lot more convicted to start initiating my short there. So that looks pretty decent as well. But this kind of bounce here at that low is a little bit concerning. It's not too crazy. It's only on the 3-minute. If we look on the 15-minute, it's only, one bounce on the 15-minute. But it's just something that I would be aware of. I'd say see what it does at this level. I feel like this is kind of the pivotal point where do we, blast off from this level, from that bottom here. And so the break of 132.85, I would be a little bit wary there. But if it does wick off of this 9 EMA, then I think that the continuation of the short is still in play. I usually would get in around the 9 EMA for the continuation of the short, but I feel like once it bounces off this level, I really want to see it get to this day's low again before I start initiating that short. So that's what I'm looking at. How about you, Obi?
Yeah, no, I'm observing this 325. So we did get all the way up to 325 here on Tesla as of right now. So aggressive, oh wow, look at that, aggressive bidding coming right back in, 325 halves, 326 is currently on the horizon there. So yeah, definitely a very, very strong trend here. So as it pulled back through that 325, I re-engaged on the short, but then we make some fresh highs right after. So pretty much that 325 not really looking like a place that we may or may not turn here as that aggressive buying continues to come into this stock. If I'm looking at the 3-minute chart here, we've pretty much held prior bars since about 120 as of right now. So 120, we've been holding that trend, that behavior there on Tesla, aggressive buying into that 325 mark there. Somebody in the chat was talking about 330 on Tesla by end of day. Yeah, sure. With this kind of pressure, if this continues, 325s, Sean. Yeah, 325s. Are you still in that long?
Yes.
Let's go. He's 5 points in the money. Let's go, Sean. Solid trade there on the 320 breakout. So 325's incoming. So this thing is hella extended. That buying pressure showing no signs of relief at all on the day today. So again, maybe it is a Friday. It's I don't know. Maybe we're squeezing on Tesla. I think the squeeze is happening on a bit of a larger time frame as well on the break of that trend. Just a little bit, right? On the break of trend, if you're looking at bigger picture reversions, the break of that trend that happened, I think it was a few weeks ago, definitely coming into play here as that aggressive buying continues to push us even higher. Only about 100, less than 100 points now away from all-time highs is this Tesla. So let's see what we do here. bit of a pullback coming in on the NASDAQ. So let's see if that tailwind can give us a little bit of a pullback down here on Tesla as well. 325, so we're trading below it again, but let's see. We've observed the buyers kind of step up. I was talking about the 312 buyers. They step up to 316s, step up to 320s, and then now let's see where the next aggressive buying kind of comes in and holds the stock higher, or that stair step move to the upside, or do the stairs kind of fall apart and we take the escalator back down, or maybe the elevator even. I have no idea. I have no idea what this ticker is going to do, but the chart is super, super strong, Sateo. So we only got about 12 minutes left. It is a Friday, so a bit of a laxed mood today. You got any weekend plans?
I'm actually going to buy my PC. So
nice.
Yes. So we have on the campus trading program, you do have an option to work from home. And so I'm an iMac girl, to be honest. And so I've been asking around for PC advice from Obi, from Jose, from different people. And so I've just been shopping around for like monitors, the keyboard that I'm going to use, the mouse, and so. They were trying to, just getting a little bit of a rant here, but they were trying to kind of swindle me out of my money because I told them that I wanted 4 monitors, and they said, so the PC that I was looking at only had 3 HDMI ports, and they're like, you're gonna have to add a graphics card in order for you to support like the extra monitor that you want. And I said, really? Like a $300 graphics card just for an extra monitor? And then my friend said that I just need a splitter. I don't know if that's right.
No, you can get a splitter for that, but I think we were talking about that as well. It's like, sure, you can get a splitter. You can still attach a lot of monitors, but it's more about the load that your PC might be taking. It might slow it down if it's not coming from like a natural port.
Okay, understood.
So I don't know. It really depends on what graphics card you already have in there. But yeah, no, that sounds like fun plans. I love building PCs. Building PCs is one of my pastimes. I kind of do it on the side as well. Built a lot of PCs for my friends as well. I built my own as well. I would never buy a pre-made, but again, I learned that lesson a long time ago. I guess growing up, I'm just like, because I was always been an avid gamer, and I'm like, all right, well, how hard could it be? It's just plug and play. And once you figure it out, it really just is plug and play. But no, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's gonna be my first PC ever.
Nice.
So I feel like they took a little bit of advantage. I still don't know what I'm going to do, whether I'm gonna get, the AMD Ryzen or the Intel i7 kind of the CPU processor. So I'm still kind of a little bit, I don't know, I'm a little bit bamboozled about that, but I'm going to bring my friend so that he can kind of cross-reference and make sure that they're not trying to make me spend any more money than I need to. Yeah. So that is the fun stuff that I'm going to get into this weekend. How about you? Any plans for you?
I think nothing too crazy. I think I'm just going to hang out with a couple of friends. Maybe do some trade reviews. I'm a little behind on some of those. So I got to catch up on some trade reviews here. Some aggressive selling coming in here. Look at the market pullback there as well, coming right back in towards that prior bar low right there. So here comes some selling on the Tesla as well, breaking back below that 325. So interesting stuff here. Let's see how far we can get. Do we still hold trend? I have no idea. I actually dropped an anchor to that aggressive volume that did come in here, and we held that anchor all the way through this push into 325. So let's see if we can pull back into that anchor here. I have that anchor sitting at 322s as of right now, just a little bit above this consolidation. So let's see if this resistance turns into support as we've been trending up to the upside. Maybe those buyers that I keep saying maybe stepping up, maybe they've stepped up 2 points from that 320 all the way to 322. I have no idea, but let's see. We're coming in on the markets here, a little bit of a pullback. So let's see if that can come in as well here on Tesla. Nothing else really. I wonder if Apple rejected that VWAP, and we know that Apple had some VWAP. Well, we were observing some VWAP sellers there on Apple. Absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Market was raging to the upside, and then Apple could not get. I mean, Apple bid up as well, but it could not get past some of this VWAP selling that we've been seeing once, twice, and 3 times right there. A little bit of a chip chop happening in the morning session as well. A bit of a orbit around VWAP, can't really get through, and then fails to the downside, along with a few of the other Mag 7s as well. So Some interesting action there nonetheless. Yeah, no, let's see. What is the next trade? That's what I'm asking. On a day like today, I think Tesla was probably one of the biggest opportunities. Upstart as well, and maybe some of these day two earnings as well. You can see I got IONQ here pretty much the whole time I've been here on the midday. Just kind of watching it, being like, all right, well, day two plays, I got to keep an eye on those as well. Maybe, while everyone has eyes on something shiny like Tesla, I can be taking opportunities off the chart on tickers that maybe are not don't have as much attention on them, but still doing relatively increased volume there on an earnings day too, like IONQ. But yeah, no, let me know in the chat. What are you guys trading? Let's see. Let's go long. Obi saying, Red Eye Jedi. I like that name. That's a nice name. Red Eye Jedi saying, let's go long on lean hogs. Daily chart is indicating a boom to the upside. I'm assuming you're talking about Tesla. Yeah, no, daily chart is definitely looking aggressively strong on this ticker. Again, I can show you guys what I have here on the Tesla longer time frame, and we can talk about where this buying pressure may or may not be coming from as of right now. So let's go to a 3-hour chart here. And then this trend, oh boy, yeah, look at that. Have you ever seen a chart like this? Hey, look at that. This is so many lines.
Why do you have those lines? That doesn't stress you out?
Those are intraday lines that I have not removed. But that's irrelevant in terms of what I'm trying to talk about right now. This is the trend resistance that I'm talking about. The all-time highs here at 414.36. Sorry, I thought it was 412s. 414.36 is all-time highs there on Tesla. And look at that trend resistance we held. This was all the way in 2021. November of 2021 is the all-time high on Tesla. So holding. Yeah, sure, we extend off of it. We pull back in. Holds again in 2023. Holds again in 2024. And finally, coming into the end of the year, we break out of that. Trend resistance. Pull back in. That resistance turning into support. And take a look at this. We remove all of the noise there. We are definitely breaking out and pushing higher on increased volume on this ticker. So yes, on the daily chart, definitely I agree that this is looking like a crazy breakout. We talk about a reversion as well. So yeah, that trend break reversion, the pullback and hold as well for another push up. 350s on the horizon apparently with the way this is looking. So Tesla could be giving us some interesting action, continuing to give us interesting action in the coming weeks and months here.
Awesome. Yes. Yeah, I was just flipping through some tickers and I was looking at the triple Qs. And so I think that this is an interesting kind of pivotal level here. This was kind of the local high around 514.17. We had that rejection here around 9:30. Around 10, and then again at 11:54. And so we are bouncing off of that level, so a little bit of a pullback there. I want to see that hold of that level for the continuation of the long. That looks pretty decent there as well. If I do see a break of this level, my next bus stop level that I'm going to be looking at is around VWAP, around 513.55, 513.50. But I want to see that hold for that continuation of the long. So that's kind of just some things that I was looking at. I was also looking at Nvidia as well. Nvidia looks like it's coming into this level that I was looking at as well. Nice confirmation. The fact that we kind of tried to bid up to that VWAP as well. Couldn't get above that, which I really like. And now I feel more secure in kind of initiating at that short there. And not necessarily now, but when it starts to break that 147.15 level, I think that is kind of a better level for me to kind of catch it on the breakdown there. But I wanted to make sure that because we were looking at it around here, around 127. And so someone was saying, should we start, initiating our short there? But I wanted to make sure that there was that rejection below VWAP before we come down. And so that looks a lot better there. So that's kind of just what I'm looking at before we kind of peace out and bring it back to the big kahunas there. Yeah, they're setting up there. But yeah, that's what I'm looking at. How about you?
Nice. No, I'm going to continue watching this Tesla going into the end of the day there. Super strong on the day. I guess some other names again from this morning. Upstart continues to stay really, really strong on the day, holding higher highs and higher lows as well. Hasn't really gone all the way back to VWAP. So going to continue watching that one. Another one I had eyes on was Sony. So Sony, they had earnings today as well. A strong drive off of the open. This reversion quite nice there, quite clean as it pulls back in towards VWAP and continues to trade sideways for the rest of the day. That 20 mark, I think, was a 52-week breakout there, and you can see the aggressive buying that ensued, not only going into the 20, but past it as well. 2066 high on Sony Group right there. So not really much else on watch. Yeah, of course, I'm going to be watching DJT and DXYZ as well going into the end of the week. So going to see if this continues to bid up. Again, we've been selling off quite aggressively. The shorts have been quite nice on this, maybe the swing shorts as well. So let's see if there's any sort of residual kind of a pop going into the end of the week here on DJT. DXYZ, of course, is another one that I'll be watching. I'll continue to watch here as it continues to push some fresh highs, again, going into the end of the day. Only about 2 hours left here on the day, so strong market going into the close here. End of week, very, very strong. A little bit of a quadroon happening in the Globex session there. We've pretty much reverted all of that action and more here on the NASDAQ, and then a lot more on the ES here. So aggressive buying across the board. Not really reflected as much in some of the Mag 7s, but we were talking about how some of these tickers are moving as of right now. We've seen things that are trending very, very hard. We saw that we saw Moderna with the hard downtrend. We saw Lilly with the uptrend. We saw Costco as well. So lots of opportunity if you are a trend trader in these markets pushing all-time highs. So
Yes, yeah, I definitely think that's warranted. But we are concluding our midday show. Follow us on Instagram, tradertv.live. You can follow me on Instagram, satea.trades, and then Adara LePage. All at us. Sorry? Trader TV Adara, sorry about that. And then you could also follow her as well, Sean Katina, Trader TV Sean, I believe it is. And you could follow us there. And we're bringing it over to the big kahunas.
take care, guys.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you, Obi, Satea. Yeah, look, it might be a busy afternoon if you're looking at specific names here. We continue to be long. Thank you, Obi.